What's up, and welcome back to the channel. A very happy Christmas and a happy New Year. People would say, Ninja, it's the 12th of the 4th there. What are you doing? What are you talking about Christmas for? We're past that, Ninja. We're looking at what's going on. We're looking at Easter coming up. The shelves are full now. Full 2024. Fortunate mistake, lads. The shelves are full of Easter eggs at this point in time. Welcome to this show. Welcome to Real Talk. I'm absolutely delighted to be back. Obviously, last couple of weeks, took a couple of weeks off as well too, just to enjoy the Christmas, enjoy the New Year. You know yourself how these things go. And whilst I was doing that, I was sitting and I was thinking about the channel. And I was saying to myself, like, what am I going to do? I think we need to change things up here a little bit. So what I'm going to do next week, I suppose I'll just tell you from the get-go, I have a guest coming on the 19th of the 1st, 2024. I'm delighted to say who the guest is. The guest is going to be Satirical Soldier. So Mike Connell will be on this channel. I'm absolutely thrilled with that because we'll be talking to him and we'll be getting his point of view with regards as to what's going on here in Ireland. Him being in the Defence Forces then himself, what has happened to them. These are all the type of things that we're going to be asking. And then obviously as well too, as I did with Philip Dwyer in the last stream, I like to let the guests talk because I think it gets people to know them, and also then as well too, it gets them a lot more notice is what I would say, because I know there's people that tune in here and they've never heard of certain people that I might talk about. So I think it's worthwhile to do that. I also then have a couple of other people that I want to definitely get onto the channel as well. There's all the main men, I want to get the likes of Ferg on, hopefully get Toby on as well too. That does Twitter and has been doing a wonderful job over there. And a number of other people then as well too, like the Irish Git as well too, would be another one that I would love to get on as well too. Perhaps even Mick O'Keefe, that would be another good one as well also, because the guys are doing fantastic work over on Twitter. And it'd be nice to just do a sort of a cross-pollination and show people what's going on and what these guys are doing. They're amassing hundreds of thousands of views on Twitter, which is hugely important because that is making an impression amongst not only people in Ireland, but people across the world. Something that has happened in the last week or so that I've been talking to people about is this interesting situation that's currently going on, which is a number of countryside towns, villages have now found out. I mean, Dublin has been feeling this for a very long time. And now, as I said about 2 years ago, I think on this channel, I said to people, this will start get going when the country people are affected. And I know that might be, some people might say, that's very derogatory, Ninja, and it's not. It's not meant in that way. What it's meant in the way of is that you guys that are out there haven't been quite affected about what's going on here in Dublin in particular. It's now affecting you, and the response has been amazing. The response, I have to say, blows anything out of the water that we've seen beforehand because you've acted quickly. I've also seen as well too over the last while where people would have been preyed upon by the likes of the media and politicians with this whole women and children stick. I'm seeing a lot more people that are saying, no, we shouldn't be accepting anybody except Irish people into these places. And I fully agree with that sentiment. We have enough problems of our own without dealing with the problems of the world. So that's my viewpoint, and it's being shared amongst an awful lot of people here in this country. A lot of people here disagree with the current immigration policy that is happening here into this country. And the immigration policy, I mean, they want to dance around it whatever way they want to dance around it. But that is the problem that causes issues with the likes of housing, the health service, and any other service then that you can probably imagine. You've got the leftists that are on Twitter, and we'll be talking about them. And of course, Mike will be talking about them next week. He's had plenty of engagement with these people that will be saying refugees welcome, open borders, no problem, you're an istophobe, bigotophobe. And then these same idiots then are crying on Twitter saying, I can't buy a house, I can't get a doctor's appointment, I can't go here, there, or everywhere. And you're going looking at them saying, this is crazy. Like, these people are actually that stupid that they don't realize that they're calling for their own. It's turkeys voting for Christmas, really. And what you have here now are a section of individuals that have been listened to by the media, that have been pushed forward by the government. They're being brought into the likes of NGOs to cause and store up trouble. Like, it's amazing to think that in the last 10 years, when you say Ireland for the Irish, you have a government TD. You have Neil Richmond only this week saying that Ireland for the Irish is not welcome. He's saying it's absolutely disgraceful. Now, just apply that across any sort of other country in the world and say to yourself, well, what's going on over there? If you said Nigeria for the Nigerians in Nigeria, you'd be slapped on the back and said, yeah, fair play to you, patted on the back, I suppose, and said, yeah, fair play to you, that's exactly how it goes. Japan for the Japanese as well too, that'd also be the same sort of sentiment that would be given there. Yet though, when it comes to Western countries, no, you can't be saying Ireland for the Irish there now. You have to be making these new people here welcome. It's absolutely absurd. So I'd say a big fair play to all of the people that have been protesting. It's been going on since before Christmas, obviously since the last stream, and then since then as well. We've seen the likes of Ballinrobe. We've seen that has been a phenomenal effort there. We have seen then, I think today or yesterday, I think it was Carlow. They had a protest as well too, and they're saying they're not having it at all. And then you've also then seen various other places around the country that have swiftly gotten into action and said, no, we're not having it here. I want to remind you of one thing, and I heard this on the radio during the week when I was passing through a shopping centre, and I was listening because obviously they have these people pushed on the populace when they're in the likes of shops and shopping centres and all that they spew absolute nonsense and hope that subconsciously you're going to take it on board and agree with it. But I heard a woman say that Dublin is the gate, and a lot of these people that are making their way through have to have somewhere to go. And I sat and I thought to myself, and I said, well, that's a very interesting statement. And I think that is a statement now that I'm probably going to use against these people. Dublin is the gate. Because if you have the likes of the airport and the docks that are not being policed and they're not turning people away and sending them back to where they came from, well, they're getting in. And that's how they're getting in then along the countryside also. So the way I talked about it on Twitter was, if you happened to find a rat's nest, okay, say you're in Ballinrobe, we'll just say, for example, you're in Ballinrobe and you find a rat's nest. Are you going to put that just a bit up the road and hope it doesn't come back? I don't think you would. So why then would you say, okay, these people can clear off out of our place, because they're just going to be moved on somewhere else? From what I understand, from what had been said online, and again, open to correction on these things, but it seemed like the people, and particularly the fellas that were supposed to be housed in Ballinrobe, seem to have been diverted and sent elsewhere. So now it's not Ballinrobe's problem, but it's a problem of somewhere else. And then inevitably then when that gets shut down, potentially, it's then back to Dublin. So again, I think it's an important thing that everybody's united on this wavelength, I would say, maybe, and then say, okay, the ports need to be shut, the docks need to be shut, we need to not let these people in here. And when I say that, I think that's what some election promises should be, and it seems to be going that way. Politicians are really afraid about what's going on right now. And when I say that in particular, it is in the country towns, it is in the country villages, because those people are well known within those villages and towns, and they are being blamed for it. So it's a different ballgame when you're Leo Varadkar and you're going, well, I'm sitting around Dublin and the probability of me getting a load of votes, perhaps even 3,000 or more, is probably quite high. But if you're down the country and you're hoping that a local rural populace is going to bail you out and get you back into your seat, the chances of that happening are slim to none now. You were seeing the likes of Derek Bloyd there, for example, with Ireland Force, who's doing a great job there and is growing. You're seeing other nationalist parties that are growing and they're bringing people on board all of the time. But I just also want to remind you, and I think what's interesting about this whole situation is you're seeing Fianna Fáil TDs and Fianna Fáil councillors turn against Micheál Martin in particular. You're seeing very little of that in Fine Gael. But I would also remind you that none of these people are challenging the leadership. That is the important thing to know. If these people were serious about changing things for the better and certainly changing the party and not being in agreement to Micheál Martin, surely there can be 3 to 4 to 5, maybe 6, even 10 people within that party that hold some sort of sway that can say, okay, we want a vote of no confidence in the leadership here. At the very least, what it does is it starts to chip away at the confidence and the ego of the likes of Micheál Martin and Leo Varadkar. At the minimum. That's what I'm saying. And those things need to be done. What you're seeing is you're seeing tabling of no confidence votes and stuff like that. And once they're in power, that's what they do. They just kind of take you on a show and say, okay, this is what we're going to do here, guys. But it comes to nothing. So it needs to start within those parties. And what needs to happen is people need to be starting to email their TDs, their councillors, and telling them, get rid of them as a leader because they are causing untold damage here to this country. Another incident that has occurred as such is Conor McGregor is back on the scene. And with relation to Aisling Murphy, he has donated €50,000 to an arts and scholarship program or some sort of thing like that. Again, open to correction, but a cultural thing. What is fascinating about that situation is I don't remember any politician donating 50,000 to that. Do you? So what's happening is right now, I think Conor McGregor is strategically doing things, whether by the goodness of his own heart, maybe or maybe not. You may or not agree with me, or maybe you will. But he's certainly looking better than those people right now. And the way it is and the way it's going is, I don't care what you're doing. If you're all for the borders of Ireland being safe, patrolled, and bouncing people back to their own country, I'm all for you then. If you're agreeing with me, it was like Satirical Soldier said, once you agree with me and you're saying the things that I want you to be saying, happy days. The time of election promises being made by these people and then them doing something completely different are over. The internet now is forever. And when it comes to the internet, you are seeing incidents happening worldwide now that the media can no longer control the narrative of. Has anybody seen the fellas crawling out of the sewers in New York City? Has anyone seen that? Just in talking about a worldwide situation, I think the jig is up there as well too. I think people are starting to figure it out as well to hand over fist as to who's running the world. The Polly Walnuts memes are incredible. Polly the Pepe Frog now we're getting. It's unbelievable. And people are just finally looking at it and they're saying, who's not talking about this in the last couple of weeks? Well, you know who it is. So we'll jump into the chat before we jump into Gab and show you a couple of articles that I have over there, because it's always important to show you some of the stuff that the lamestream media are saying, and then we critique it, we commentate about these things. This is a Clown World commentary, as you know. So we're just booting up Gab there now as we're waiting. We'll jump into the chat and say hello. Ro Kelly's in here. Forces, don't be late. I was on time, I think, this week. Ryan Corcoran says, hi, Ninja Knight. I'm vice chair of Fianna Fáil, but I really like your work. Please keep the good work. Fianna Fáil are poaching me now, are they, guys? Is that what's going on? Is Fianna Fáil asking me to become part of the party? Anyway, if you are actually the dude, welcome, I suppose. It would be the one thing I would say. And hopefully you guys can start ousting Micheál Martin is the next thing. And anyone else there that's under the WEF agenda, anybody else that's underneath that WEF nonsense that's saying, oh yeah, Agenda 2030, they need to go. I mean, you're actively telling us that you want to do the complete opposite of what we should be doing. So no thanks to that. I didn't vote for any of that, you know. George Sturdy says, welcome back, Ninja. Richard McKevitt says, hello, folks. Hope you all had a Merry Christmas and a New Year brings a lot of sanity back to the world. It's already feeling that way now. January is off to a wild start. It's like week one and like 15 different events have occurred already. It's like, whoa. 2023 was a bad year for the left, lads, but it's going to get even worse for these people. So anyway, we'll keep going. B says, I missed the real news. Thanks very much. Much appreciated there. We've got Derek McManus is in there as well too. We've got, what have we got there? Someone saying something about RT. Finola Murkiv says, Derek, hello there. I hope you had a nice Christmas. Ryan Corcoran says, RT cover all the time. RT is covered to the core. RT are just not good. You know, that's the way we look at things here on this platform. Derek Mann says, if you have a question or comments for our host, please use @Ninja Knight in the chat. Comments are generally dealt with at the end of the show. Thanks, Derek, for letting everyone know that, because it always slips my mind. Big shout out to the mods here, including Derek and all of the other mods that we have here to do a fantastic job. Air only B1014 says, vote no, March 8th. Durable relationships is a loophole which will be exploited for even more income and migration. Our land, our destiny, era. Fully agree with you on that one there. And it's actually something that's been interesting to speak with people over the last couple of days. I've been talking to them about that, and then they've been saying, how are they getting that in with relation to immigration? I'm just like, whatever the government wants you to do the exact opposite. That's the line that you should be taking now. It's also been an interesting thing. I've been talking to a couple of countryside friends of mine that now, again, you'll be shocked to hear this, but these guys would kind of believe the media. It's like holy balls. I've been telling you for the last couple of years and telling you definitely for the last year or so about what's going on, whether it be to your face or whether to be subconsciously to say, hey, did you see that? What did you think of that? But anyway, these guys in particular were talking about the far right. They were using all of the terminology. And once this nonsense of invasion and plantation had arrived at their doorstep, you best believe they became far right, lads. They were like, no, I don't any of these people down in my area. And I go, oh, so you're a racist, bigot, far rightist now, are you? Is that what it is? And they're looking at you going, no. And then they're going, yeah, no, the crime that's going to be brought into the place, we don't want that. And not only that, then we're seeing the house prices are starting to go up. So no. And I'm looking at them going, welcome to Dublin for the last few years. 3-figure houses now at this stage of the game. You've gotten from 3 figures all the way up to 6 figures now. Because people from, 40 odd years ago will say to you, hey, we bought this house there at €20,000. And you're going, okay, well, pounds at the time. And before that, then some people then will even say to you, even worse than they'll say to you, oh yeah, well, no, we got this. We did in like a raffle. We put like 300 quid into a raffle. And you're going, right. Not that they don't exist today. But when you're looking at the standard house now in Dublin, it's 6 figures at this stage of the game. And it's going to start happening as well, too, down the rest of the country. you're going to see 300,000 be the norm. And I don't think an awful lot of people have that envisaged in their minds for the future. Do you? Let's have a look now at the rest of the chat and see what's going on. People are shouting out at the new people in the chat. It's always good to welcome people in as well too. You know, this is a bananas show, lads. So just bear with me. Let's keep going. David McTeague says 10 minutes and counting, so it's 10 minutes out at that stage of the game. Jerome Reedy says, Ninja Night, good evening, everyone. Good to see it. Michael Brazil's in here, says, Ninja Night, good evening, and good evening all. Good to see you there. That's the Irish Git, guys. He's an absolute legend. Hail Friday, people, says, Slap Happy. Good to see you in here. Letitia Logan says, can I be seen? 100%. Von Malone says, Hail Ninja. Good to see you here. Zoe Eagle Day says, Ninja Night, great to have you back, mate. You have no idea how much of an important service you provide, even just being here. Thanks very much. Much appreciated. It was a little bit of a break. And I said, right, we'll get back to things now. Irish Red says, Ninja Night, Happy New Year, bro. And to our fellow ninjas, much appreciated. Absolutely 100%. We will get a interesting year out of 2024. I'm trying to read the chat and talk at the same time. It's incredibly difficult, especially when you take a couple of weeks off. So Gilday says, Ninja Night, encourage anyone who cares but is afraid to set up anonymous Twitter accounts, at least get involved. Yeah, I would totally agree with you on that one. And then the left do the same thing now. They've been doing it for a little while, which is just like, if you really stood by your things, you'd show us our face. Good try. Because exactly what you want to do is find out who this person is, and you want to then try and attempt to harass them in real life. And no, I don't think people should be giving you that type of ammunition. So that's why an awful lot of people here on this side of the fence are like, no, we're not going to give you that there at all. And hang on, aren't you the guys that are looking for children to be talked to about the likes of the rainbow stuff? Is that you? And what's been done about you? And then people then have done the other tactic then on them, and then it doesn't work out too well for these people. Real interesting stuff. So good day says, Ninja Night, beware the art of concession. They will try to fill the normies by saying that Sinn Féin have come in to replace the government, not realising Sinn Féin are the establishment too. That's a very good point, and I think Sinn Féin are in panic mode right now, Zoe. And I really do, at this point in time, think the regime, I think the apparatus is afraid. It's like, oh shit. They're like, oh, what do we do? People are absolutely scolding RTE anytime they make a post. They've turned comments off. They don't want to get involved with people now. Leo Varadkar has shut comments off as well. Roderick O'Gorman has shut comments off as well. Now, I know from one point of view, people will say, well, they're just going to keep continuing what they're going to do anyway, and they don't mind hundreds of quote tweets telling them what they think of them. You know, I suppose I'll share it with people here. Quote tweeted Roderick O'Gorman during the week, and I told him, I says, see you next Tuesday. I also said the same thing to Neil Richmond. Now, that's great and all. You get 160 odd likes on that, and you're going, yeah, that's fantastic. And people take a bit of a laugh out of that one. But the ultimate thing is that those guys are still sitting in the seats that they're sitting in, dictating to what we're going to be having in this country. The best thing to do is to take those seats off them and say, right, I'm going to run against you in an election and take that seat from them. That's what we need to do. And that's the strength of numbers that need to be formed right now, whether it be through independents or whether it be through parties. These people need to go. And they're not going to go without a fight. They're definitely not going to go, and they're not going to leave and sail off into the night. You're looking at what's going on in America, and you're like, right, that's seemingly what's going to go on here. Like, I mean, everyone thinks, and myself included as well, too, you're looking at it going, well, the logical thing there to happen when your man was ousted in a very suspect manner a couple of years ago would have been to go, okay, guys, let's shut this down. Police and army, let's find out what's really going on here. Instead, he left the place, left the case, and then they've taken him off the table. They're running wild with it, and they're trying to ban him now from the ballot. And you're like, okay, so this is what these people are doing, and they're doing it out in the open, and they're getting support from a very, very loud minority. And the same thing is going to occur here. If you don't think in the next 2 to 3 years that they're going to try and ban certain parties here in Ireland, I think you have been totally missing what has been going on. These people are very interested in putting in hate speech. They don't mind telling you that your life doesn't matter or anything like that, and that they think that Ireland for the Irish and Irish lives matter is racist. They don't mind telling you that there, but they don't want you pointing out the facts that is causing this country to go into a rapid decline. We're in one of the top 10 spots there for the most unsafe places. Is it in the world or in Europe? One of those sort of articles came out during the week, and I was just like, makes no surprise to me. But that's how far this place has fallen, and it's been under the rule of successive governments that have made an absolute balls of this place on purpose. And I think when you realise that these people have done it on purpose, I think it even shocks you even that much more. Going on a movie I've seen recently, if anyone hasn't seen it, going to go see it. It's a very interesting movie, and I'm telling you what, it's a one that will make you think. It's Godzilla -1. I know what you're saying to me. You're saying, Ninja, that's a movie about a big monster. There's a line in it, okay? And they speak about lives and the government, and they're talking about the government finds our lives to be cheap. And I was just sitting there and I pondered it. I did for about 3 days afterwards. And I was just like, they're absolutely right. Because the movie's a very anti-war message. And why is that an anti-war message and why is that good? Well, it's good because they're not sending their young men off into battles that they have no hope of winning. And not only that, then, but they're doing it on the back of some big wig sitting somewhere that's never ever going to engage in these things, and their family's never ever going to engage in these things. It's just the ordinary Joe Soap. So I was looking and I thought about it for 3 days, honestly, and I was just like, that's an amazing quote, like, and what they were talking about and how they directed it in the movie, I think was unbelievable. So if you get the chance to go and see it, go and see it. But it's a beautiful quote that I thought an awful lot about after the fact. Let's keep going here. Art Hostage says, majority of people right across Europe disagree with current immigration policies. If you join the dots, Europe for Europeans, 100%. Did you see what happened to Poland? And Poland is out protesting now as well too. Listen, lads, Poland's fucked because that was one of the strongholds for the last couple of years. But they have your man, what's your man's name there? Donald Tusk there. That guy's a lefty, man. He's a lefty. So they're going to come after Hungary next. That's the next thing that they're going to do. They're going to try and isolate Viktor Orban, and they're going to try and get Hungary down under their belt. And this is what they're doing. It's just a slow expansion across the place. They have Poland now, which is ultra-conservative, but yet they voted this guy in who's going to cause an absolute mayhem in Poland. So we'll see where things go. There's one thing to be thought of as well, too. The Spanish, I think, are on day 50 of a protest. Media's not showing it. Germany has come to a standstill as well, too. Media's not showing that. Toby, that's in the chat here, is showing it as well on Twitter. Like, total standstill. Farmers have crossed borders from various other places they have to support each other, because an awful lot of people forget too that without farmers, you ain't getting fed. Okay, a lot of people seem to think that the chopped ham that you find in the supermarket, it comes like that. That's what they think, and you're looking at it going, these people have no clue where this stuff actually comes from. The grain that you're eating, the rice, whatever it might be, the vegetables that you're eating as well too, come from a farm. So important. And you need to support the farmers. That's why when I see the Farmers Alliance here building in Ireland, I'm like, that's great as well too. The one thing I will say is too many parties in the country, and in particular, what I mean is the whole country, I think is a negative thing, because what happens is you've got the establishment parties that are there that will have their base. They will always have their base. If anything about American politics has taught me anything about politics here, is that people will always vote with a blindfold on, no problem at all, for the same parties that they voted for beforehand. Now, I know an awful lot of people here share similar sentiments to mine, which are, if voting actually really changed anything, they'd probably make it illegal. Well, we'll see with this upcoming referendum, because it seems like the large majority of people are against it. But if one slips through, lads, I'm telling you, I think most people are going to be like, okay, right, jigs up here, lads. This is definitely not legit. This is 100% not happening. No way. There's no chance that this could happen. So that's why I think you need to be driving focus to running in constituencies. The government are afraid to call an election, by the way. And when I say that, Sinn Féin are fucking terrified about going for an election, because they're like, oh, balls. They realise that people know about Mary Lou McDonald's brother. They realise people have seen the video of Owen O'Brien, who's telling he's going to fix housing, but doesn't know what a woman is. They've seen these videos. They've seen the videos of Desi Ellis running around fingerless calling people racist. They've seen all these things. And see, this is the importance of social media. When this stuff gets out, you're in bad shape, and the optics are looking bad. East Wall, Mary Lou McDonald running away from the people, asking her questions. That's not a good look, lads. That's not the look of someone that's loved. So you're in big trouble. And what's happening is now you see a big contingent of people, like the man who I'm going to just shout out right now, Fergus Powers here in the chat. Says, Ninja Knight, how's it going, you beautiful patriots? Hope you're all keeping well. Great to have you back, brother. We're not even halfway through January, and look at the amount of fighting. This is our year. 100%. That's another man that's going to be running for a position, and that is someone that I hope does a great job, and indeed is someone that I think 100% has been on the front line from nearly day one and has been out there given as good as he can get. And it's someone that I would like to be in a position, and I think he could do great things. You're seeing people like the likes of Leo Varadkar, you're seeing Micheál Martin, Simon Harris, and Stephen Donnelly, and all these people. Stephen Donnelly going on a blocking spree recently there on Twitter because he can't handle that people are saying to him, you're going to be standing for trial for crimes against humanity. Doesn't like that. But you got Ferg there as well too, that's been standing strong and it's going out and it's telling people, look what's going on here, and showing them and saying, no, we're going to keep our area safe. That's the type of message that I like. I'm all for that. I am. So interesting times, guys. The Gardaí bite as well. Another shout out to the Gardaí, because I know that there'll be probably one or two glowies in here listening to what's going on. Fair fuck to you, lads, for standing beside buses and bringing them into areas that they don't belong. Fair play to you for not checking their documents. Fair play to you for not being out in the airports or at the docks and stopping these people from getting out and running around the country. A container only yesterday there, they said, what was it, 14 people emptied out of it. People have scarpered off. They were like, oh no, we're not going to pursue this. What the fuck do you mean you're not going to pursue things? What are you talking about? How can you knock on the door of a person like someone that you claim on the far right and say to them, we need a statement because you've saying mean, hurty words online, or you've been posting mean, hurty words on Twitter, and you're letting these people that have come into this country illegally run around the place? You must be joking. And that's why people look at that organization now and they have nothing. And I mean this, it is starting online big time. And all I'm explaining to you is cause and effect. You are starting to become contemptible. People are starting to dislike you intensely. So that's why when you see the big, and I mean, it stopped. Have you not noticed that? You've seen the big media push about Gardaí being injured after the Dublin situation. By the way, I just want to remind people that was an incident that was kids that were stabbed in broad daylight here in Dublin. And instead, what did the apparatus look to do? They looked to say, people burnt down a car and they burnt down a bus and a couple of Gardaí got a couple of slaps. What about the dude that stabbed kids? What about him? You're not going to talk about that. You're not going to talk about a failed immigration policy into this country. Why are you talking about Aisling Murphy, Virgin Media, the Aisling Murphy, the Joseph Puskett story? A guy that was in here over 10 years doing nothing. And then his family have then been able to claim benefits for the last 2 years since that trial began. Why are these people not deported? And the important point to make about that is they're not deported, so it creates exactly what's going on right now, which is discontent amongst many people. You have the Gardaí, I'm sure at this point in time now, that have a siege mentality. It's possibly being even distributed amongst the various different meetings that they probably have. Because that siege mentality, by the way, is there in some other people too, where they're just like, fuck these people out here protesting. They're making our lives a bit of a harder life now, they are, and they're giving us a few words in our ears that we don't like. And that's the sort of stuff that they're doing. The government is what I'm saying, not the Gardaí themselves. They're sowing discontent amongst the people and what is supposed to be the people who protect and serve us. You've got a lot of people right now, though, that don't believe in that. And they say to themselves, okay, well, I don't think there are people now within a profession that is supposed to protect and service that are looking out for our best interests. That is a big problem now at this stage of the game. You have a big issue at hand, which is you've got people in uniform running around and are happily then sneering and smirking at people and calling them names. People that are out there trying to protect themselves and their own areas. And I'm sure now, and this is the difference between Dublin and the difference between every other part of the country. You have people here now that are working in this county, for example, that probably don't give a fiddlers because they don't live here. And we've been dealing with these problems, as I've said, for a very long time. Again, we've enough problems of our own. We're out importing more. But now that it's gone to the homes and hometowns of certain other people, I bet you there'd be a bit of a turn within some people there inside the uniforms. How could you be a person with any sort of functioning brain in that occupation and say to yourself, this is all right, this is fine, I totally agree with the apparatus on this. There's no way you can. How could you be also there in that profession? Which is probably why we're seeing lots of resignations, by the way, and lots of retirements, because there probably is people that are there that do have a conscience and a sense of morality and some principles that are going, I can't do this anymore. I actually can't do this anymore. There has to be. There has to be. Anyway, we'll crack on into the show. This has been a couple of minutes of a bit of a rant. So I'll get through a couple of things here. I don't know whether I'll click into these things because it's been a bit funny the last couple of times, but I'll click into the videos. First thing up I wanted to show you is this. Now, this is a guy called Martin Schranz, and this is a fella that actually made a tweet. And from what I can decipher on Twitter, I just thought this was highly important, and it has been totally glazed over from the media, from what I can see. I don't know, again, I know Grip, they're doing their thing and they're covering things that are important to you, but I don't know whether they covered this or interviewed this man. But I tell you what, lads, if this is what he's saying is true, big problems are afoot, lads. And what I mean by that is this. This guy tweeted originally that he tagged the hospital that he works in, and I think maybe someone there, like a CEO of the hospital or something like that, about there being no water, bottled water in a vending machine, and talked about how employees there were thirsty. This dude was apparently marched out of the place and was told, "Don't come back, and we're putting you on suspension. You're on leave because you criticised this." Now, again, that's what he's claiming, and I think it's pretty ballsy if that's the case. Then that they've decided to do that. But he then put out this statement from the 28th of December. It goes to show you how long ago he was supposed to do a stream, but then didn't get around to doing it. This guy put out this tweet on the 28th of December, and I'm telling you now, I looked at this, I did, and again, this was another tweet that I was sitting there going, that seems very logical. And it seems like over the last couple of years, what we've seen, again, you're hearing all about the suddenlies, you're hearing about the turbo cancers. Don't be worrying about them. Don't be worrying about multiple sclerosis or anything like that. Don't be worrying about that. Don't be thinking about people having all sorts of new sort of illnesses that they wouldn't have had before. Don't worry about that at all. Couldn't be anything related to what's gone on the last couple of years, except I've started to hear different. Again, allegedly, speculatively, I've started to hear that there are certain doctors around this country now starting to investigate these things. Isn't that interesting? It's almost like the tinfoil hat wearing individuals like myself over the last couple. Isn't it amazing? I've gone through another winter. How have I done that? How have I done that? How have you done that? If you're someone that thought that this was all hooey over the last couple of years and they told you, remember Joe Biden said it's going to be a winter of severe illness and death. I'm here 3 years later, dude. What about everyone else that I know that didn't take it are all cool as well too? But I tell you what, an awful lot of people that I know that did take the stuff are feeling it now. They're looking old. They're having problems. And you're going, I don't know what the story is with that, lads. So anyway, Martin Strands here says, I had eliminated waiting lists completely in my department with long sessions going on every evening at zero cost. At Hospital Kerry, he actually then tweeted at Hospital Kerry management without notice suspended these lists, replaced them with NTPF lists to private firms at €200 per patient. Hashtag follow the money. That's a massive claim. Honestly, that is a massive allegation. If that's the case, then I think people have started to wake up to the medical field, even in the medical field. That's a pretty ballsy thing to say, I'm not going to lie. And when I say this, I think that dude now is an important person to interview. If there's anyone out there like Gettr or anything like that that happens to be listening to this, hit this guy up and ask him what's going on, because this could be a big person then going forward in the future to show you what's been going on with the medical profession here. A lot of people don't believe. I mean, I was watching Soddy Cracker the other night. I really enjoy his streams. And I was looking at him and he was talking about his cousin. He said his cousin has had a baby recently. And he was talking to the cousin, and they're obviously familiar with what he does, the fact that he does a stream and he's obviously quite political himself. And he was talking to the cousin. He was like, "So, did you get anything for the kid when the kid was born? You know, the old injector reels?" And the cousin was like, "Nah." And he was like, "Really?" And the cousin was like, "No." And he says, "MMR?" And the cousin was like, "No, definitely not." nothing. They were like, "Nah, I'm all good." They were like, "At the last couple of years, not having this now." So what has actually happened is the more that they cause people anti-vax over the last couple of years, and we end up becoming right anyway, the more people they actually made anti-vax. It's hilarious. So anyway, allegedly, basically, on that one. So anyway, I just wanted to show you this, and the reason why I screenshot Mike's comment in here as well too is just to show you. And you've got Hazel Chew here. She amassed 33.9 thousand views on this tweet. And again, I always like to show you these things, and got 96 likes. You've got Mike here who has 303 views here on this tweet and got 26 likes. So he's 70 likes at that moment in time, which was 49 minutes ago from the time I screenshot that. That was 6 hours. He, I would say, at this point in time, has 100% gotten more likes than her. But what is interesting is, and I'll always say this as well too, never interrupt your enemies when they are making mistakes. And what you see here is Ivana Bakic, a person that is not of this land as far as I'm concerned with that surname. And then you've got a Chinese woman in Hazel Chew. I don't give a shit what anybody says. I don't care that if you say, oh, my parents came from China and I was born around, you are not Irish. Okay? And the left themselves have actually then said that too. We've got people before profit quote that's down below that I quote tweeted immediately when I saw it, and I was just like, these dipshits have actually confirmed everything that I've been saying, and everybody on this side has been saying for the last couple of years. The lack of wherewithal with these people is unbelievable. We are dealing with truly low IQ individuals with the left. But when your enemies are making mistakes, you must point them out. Ivana Bacik says there, last night, Lacey Dermot and I organised a packed meeting with local residents and public reps on this and set up a D4 for all welcome group to support integration in the community. So not only has one dipshit confirmed that people in government or have ties to government are involved in these for all groups, this is something that we've been saying for a long time. I'm sure Michael Brazil, that's in here, the Irish Git, has been absolutely screaming about this for the last while, which he has, which is these for all groups are spreading up all over the place there, and they don't seem legitimate. They don't seem like they are locals in these for all groups, and they seem like they're a little rent a mob that are going around different places. Again, allegedly, respectively. But I think with that sort of statement, and then this moron saying this, I'm like, this is silver platter stuff, lads. They're giving the WT on the silver platter. She goes, myself, Ivana, and Dermot. Now, again, I'm not doing the accent because how is it that a woman that was born in Ireland still have a Chinese accent? I don't understand that. I don't get that. Is this woman, again, there's a lot of allegations, and not me, I'm not saying it, but a lot of people are alleging that this woman's a CCP plant online. I'm not saying it, but those people are. Myself, Ivana, and Dermot were the founding members of the D6 for All group last summer. Okay. Now, that's not what Ivana is saying there. She's trying to kind of word it a little bit cleverly to say, well, we're a bit involved in this. This dipshit has told people now that these people are behind this. Now, if you are not familiar with Hazel Chew is one of these people that likes to spout anti-Irish rhetoric and likes to race bait people online. This is a person that was told in those uncertain terms, it seemed, again, allegedly, speculatively, from the Green Party, that they weren't going to back her in a run for a Shannon seat. Now, think about that for a second. How low IQ and how much of a fucking radioactive individual do you have to be to have the Green Party step away from you when you have the likes of Eileen Flynn in the Shannons? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you understand? Do you get me when I'm saying that? You have to be absolutely woeful. This woman has to be worse than Godzilla. People will be saying Godzilla's Japanese, and you're like, that's not fair. You're lumping them all together. I am. I'm not lumping them all together. Japanese people are actually honourable. So anyway, so let's keep going. Anyway, this person is confirming what we already knew. Last summer, that saw local residents supporting asylum seekers both in a number of single residential centres and family residential centres in the D6 area. It was so heartening to see the engagement. That's what these people are all about. And these people then eat themselves and eat each other. They're like praying mantises, okay? Manti. Is that, I don't know the plural of that one is there. But anyway, you seen then recently then when they were having one of these refugees NGO marches there not too long ago that these people were totally weren't welcome in the march itself. So they're at each other already. But I have to be honest with you, this dipshit making this statement warmed my heart because I was just like, these people are openly admitting ridiculous things. And this person is also an individual that said that they knew someone personally at Twitter. I don't know about you. Make up your own mind on that one there. We've got Roderick O'Gorman there. It's a strong arguments from Orla NWCI, so the National Women's Council of Ireland. That's another organisation that needs to go. You need to be doing a Javier Malay with that. Fuera! Amok out. I suppose we'll use our own language there. Amok out. In support of a yes vote on both the referendums on family and care taking place on 8th March. I'd say this fella's rattled. I'd say this fella's stressed out to the max. And that tweet was from Amsterdam, by the way. What was he doing in Amsterdam? Well, have a look at this here. Accounts Roderick O'Gorman follows are mentioned can reply. This dude has shut down everything. 79.3k views, 42 likes. And the Women's Council of Ireland is another organisation that has not an awful lot of love from people here on this side of the fence. We've got this Jess Spear. Now, Jess Spear, for anyone who doesn't know, this is Paul Murphy's missus. I suppose we're saying missus. I don't know what she identifies as. But you see here, there, and this is something that I found to be quite interesting, by the way, is that she actually is from Seattle. Okay, so Dublin via Seattle, she whore. Now, is she a Yank? Is she a Yank? Or is she someone that just identifies as a Yank? What's going on? Because she has this flag here in the bio. And I think that's an interesting thing there. She's from Seattle. And Seattle is one of those hotbeds of leftism, by the way, too. And I mean, you'd have to be some sort of absolute leftist to be going out with Paul Murphy. Anyway, I've an awful lot more to say about that situation, but I'll just hold my tongue on that one for the moment. But look at this. Former climate scientist. Climate scientist? Are you serious? I looked out at the weather. It's hotter this year than the previous couple of years. And what? There's not like a new ice age on the way. I know Al Gore was saying that like 20 years ago. He said it was happening in 10 years. It never happened. Remember Greta Thunberg as well too, tweeted in 2018 the place is going to be submerged in 5 years. That didn't happen. And then she deleted the tweet then as well. But anyway, we'll move on into this statement here. And she says, far right outside my house again. This time they decided to ring the bell. I'm glad I checked before I answered. Why do they always come at my baby's bedtime? Oh, Jess. Inconvenient, was it? It's inconvenient that a lot of people that you don't know showed up outside your door, is it? That's kind of what people have been saying in various parts of the country for the last number of years. And in fact, it has intensified in the last year because people are starting to notice. They're starting to go, we have a real big problem here in the country, which is that we've got services that we're trying to. I was talking to someone recently and they were saying that they couldn't get a dentist. I was just like, you're joking me. I was like, a dentist, the place where nobody wants to go. And they were like, no joking, Ninja, can't get that dentist. I just can't go. And I said, why? And they said, they're booked out. And I said, isn't that remarkable to think that a place that nobody wants to go to, which is a dentist, is now booked out and they're not taking on any new patients? It's wild. And that's just a dentist. That's not even factoring in the hospitals here in this country that you're sitting on a trolley for X amount of hours, 24 hours, 48 hours, and you're being told, yeah, we'll see you when we see you. Like, this is all part of this problem. And also then when you're seeing the mountains of people that are outside house viewings, I want to see some of the videos that Mick O'Keefe puts up there online. Unbelievable it is of people queuing up to view houses. Chances of you owning a house now are nil, because guess what as well too? When people say, oh, you criticize Indian people, or you criticize Asians, the reason why I'm criticizing them is because this is the way they do things. For anyone who doesn't know, this is how they do things. They go to a house viewing in maybe various different parts of a certain area, and what they will do is maybe one of them will go to that certain house view. And I'm telling you, I've told friends of mine, I was just like, if you see an Indian or an Asian person at that house, you ain't getting the house, you fucked. And they're just like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, try and bid on it and see what happens. And what ends up happening is then these people are able to outbid a local couple and end up then moving in, or moving people that are tenants then in, because they become landlords then. And how did they do that, I hear you ask? This is how they do it. They pool their resources together. So if you have, say, 6 families of Indians, and what they do is they come to Ireland, they do, and I don't know how they've gotten so far away from where they're from and gotten to this country. It's baffling to me now, to be quite honest with you. And they end up buying a property. You would see about 5 or 6 families maybe moving into that property initially. And then what happens is they start to buy houses in the local area. So again, the same sort of practice, which is if you have 6 families, like something like 400k, that's not a bother to them. They're like, yeah, no problem. So they're blowing people out of water. If you're someone that's working an ordinary job, for example, it's incredibly difficult for you to poach these places. And then not only that, then that's if it's a second-hand house. If you're going and you're looking at a new build, do you know what they're doing there? Is it between 10 to 30% that they're saying has to be social housing? So why do you hear this one? And this is another one that I've been hearing recently as well too. People that are going out and getting an exception. They're getting exceptions from the bank, or they're getting an awful lot of money from the bank, which is what that means. And they're getting a lot more than they can kind of be owed. A lot more than they can be loaned, is what I should say. I'll scratch that previous statement and I'll say more than that they could be loaned. So that's the exception that's there. And they're paying through the nose, they are, and they're in debt. And then they're looking out and looking around the area, and then they're seeing families from Africa, they're seeing families from India, and they're seeing Roma Gypsy that are doing nothing and hanging around the area, and they're being given the house for free. This is not America, and this is not any other country. This is Ireland. So how is it that the Irish people are so disadvantaged, and why are we becoming disadvantaged? We are becoming disadvantaged because it is the government's fault, along with the media. They are aided and abetted by that. And then NGOs, then they are a 3-headed snake, is what I would say, with regards to things. You have the government, you have the media, and the NGOs that are working in unison together, and they are causing this situation. And when you have a person like this, then that is totally not self-aware, with having an issue with people standing outside our house and peacefully protesting, which they're fully entitled to do because they're out on a public path, by the way. I know the government are starting to not like that, but I'm telling you this now because you are clearly not really up on your Irish history. 100 years ago, right now, as things stand, this is a conversation. 100 years ago in this country, people didn't have conversations. And what I mean by that is, I think what we do today in this day and age is civilized. And I know some people don't agree with me. There's a lot of people online that don't agree with me, and they say, well, you're taking the peaceful, pacifist route here, and that's not good. I understand where you're coming from. I hear what you're saying. But like when you see the current situation at hand, which is people like this giving you complete W's with ridiculous statements like this, it is then to be used. And I think what needs to happen now is there needs to be a super cut of all of the stupid things that these people have said and done. If I was running for political office, I'd start taking the page out of the Yankees book and I'd say, what are they doing over there? They're compiling stupid comments, stupid statements, and tweets from these people, like what RTE tried to do to the likes of the lads there, like Philip Dwyer, Derek Bloig, Mike Connell, Mick O'Keefe, Toby, Gavin Pepper, and various other people like the Irish Git as well too. Do the exact same thing to them what they've done to you, because when you turn it and flip it on down, then they don't know what to be doing about it. So anyway, she got ratioed on this post there. People lashed her out, but she decided then to, I get there's a joke in there is, but I'm not going to go there. She decided then to shut off the comments because they weren't going her way. And I mean, people absolutely rattled her when it came to things, because people all said the same thing that I said, which is, oh, you don't like people that you don't know hanging around outside your house, do you know? Well, how do you think people in the likes of East Wallfield, and then you're calling them a racist? How do you think people outside the likes of Clondalkinfield and you're calling them racist? How about people in Tala? How about people in Ballinrobe? What do you think of them? You think they're all racist though, but when it's happening to you there, it's a big problem then. This is what we're dealing with, guys. This is exactly what we're dealing with here. And then, of course, then the Palestinian flag. How come none of these lefties go over to Palestine and join the front line there? How come they never go to Ukraine and join the front line there? You seen Ukraine, a video that came out there last week of a Down syndrome man being sent into the trenches. And these people are actually starting to notice that, and they're like, shit, we have to step away from Ukraine as soon as possible because they're doing really ridiculous things over there. So we're stepping over here to Palestine that I think most people are going, well, my opinion is this. I don't really care what they do over there. They can do whatever they're doing. But I tell you what, the place on the other side of the fence, though, the blue and white flag that's been up to no good for a very long time, and there are people that have been up to no good for quite some time, it's starting to come out. It's starting to come out. Do I want both of those factions in my country, though? No. Plain as. Let's have a look at this here now. Now, I'm going to talk about this in the video as well, too. I'm going to do a subsequent video on this. This is big. And this is a story now that's sort of floating out there, and it's not being spoken about enough. In America, in 2 states, I think Minnesota is one of them, and another state, I can't remember which one the other state is. Someone in the chat might let me know. But they have now started to try and declare that people are forcibly taking people into their houses. This is where we're at, boys. And what I'm saying to you is, when you factor in, and these people all played a long game, by the way, when you factor in that these people went around and did not a referendum, what was it called? The census there not too long ago. That's the initial stages as to what they are doing. And people thought it was strange. How come they're asking me what time I leave for work? How come they're asking me about public transport? How come they're asking me how many people are living in my house? How come they're asking me how many rooms I have in my house? How come they're asking me what time I get back at? That is to do what you're seeing right here. This is the lead up to this. Tell you what, guys, we've run out of accommodation, so we're going to shove people into your house. This is a conspiracy theory here on the 12th of the 4th, 2024. Let's see how long it becomes a conspiracy, or let's see how long it is a conspiracy, and let's see when it becomes reality. Because here we have this woman here now that is in a position that's totally untenable, and still in the position. I mean, if you were a serious politician and that thought, you'd be firing in petitions week in, week out, or certainly even no confidence votes week in, week out. That's what I'd be doing if I was in there. I'd be like, get this woman out here, and I'm going to keep talking about it, because the more times, you see, this is how these people work in politics. The more times they tar and feather somebody, then the less credibility that person has. Why do you think they've gone after Donald Trump for the last number of years? Again, I don't think Donald Trump is the be-all or end-all, and I'm just linking this into Irish politics, obviously, as well. I don't think he's the be-all or end-all, but there's still articles coming out about him that are like, look at him, and the court are mocking him, and you're like, hang on here, Joe's son, who's up to all sorts of skullduggery and messing about, especially with very, very shady people. Yeah, you're talking about that family as if they're like the, I don't know, I was going to say something like the Jeffersons or something like that, but they're not black. You think that they're the Cosbys? No, that's a better one there. I know people say they're not black, and I'm like, well, Bill and Joe, you know. So anyway, birds of a feather there. The Stephen Hawking memes that came out as well too during the week were pretty insane, weren't they? They led with the most insane stuff they did and made sure that you were going to forget about Bill. You know what I mean? So anyway, we'll go back onto this here. Justice Minister, public all have a role to provide accommodation for migrants. No, we don't. And see, this is something that Mike Connell is going to say next week. I know he is, and this is something I'm going to again paraphrase here on this channel. I am under no obligation, nor are you, to be guilted into thinking that taking in an unlimited amount of unvetted foreigners is a good idea, because people left this country 100 years ago, or 200 years ago, or 300 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 5 years ago, or 2 years ago. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit that you're trying to say, we all left to the famine and we're people of the world. Guess what happened when we went around the world? We actually worked in places. We actually bought places. We actually contributed positively in places. Oh, but they were saying that there was no Irish, no dogs, no blacks. Well, to be quite honest with you, and if we're going to be fucking honest when we come across with these things here, I know people that have gone to Australia and have acted the ham over there. They've acted the Egypt over in Australia, and rightfully so, have been bounced out of Australia. And then they are given a negative interpretation to the Australians, and rightfully so, the Australians are going, oh, Paddy's over here. I can see that point. I can see that point wholeheartedly. I get it. Because there's nothing like people that go off to a different place and start messing about where they wouldn't have messed about at home. And that's the same sort of thinking that I'm bringing here. You're being sent from Nairobi, are you? You've got shitheads like Hazel Chew and other people that are on the left coming over here to this country and are saying to us, yeah, no, we know how to fix your country. You were coming from a place that is a third world country, in a large part of it. And you were telling me as an African how we can fix Ireland. Are you shitting me? You couldn't fix your own country and you're bounced out of it, then you're coming over here. Listen, Abdul, I don't need to know about your religion, and I don't want any interest in it or not any sort of followership into it at all. It is not becoming the state religion here at all. Not happening. And I don't want to know about your country or how they did things. Hang on here. What's it that just said? That Saudi Arabia has nearly a 0% crime rate? Oh. What did they not have people? What people did they not have leading the place? Oh, you don't let women into those things. Have they become more appealing? Jokes aside. When I joke about things like that, I do have a joke. But in all seriousness, leftist women here have become an absolute scourge here upon Ireland. And we'll be out straight when I say that the tide has started to turn. And the days of these people getting away with what they're doing and saying and using the whole I'm a woman shtick doesn't work anymore. It's finished. But more importantly, going back to this here, we'll leave the jokes aside because this is actually a very serious statement. Justice Minister says public all have a role to provide accommodation for migrants. This is the lead up and the setup to try and shove people into houses. They tried it about a year ago where they were like, we're going to ask for people to openly invite these people in. Of course, you got dummies on Twitter that were like, I signed up for it, I did. I said I had a place. I told the Red Cross I did. And then when it came to it, then these people came out and they were like, yeah, lots of those people let us down. And then they came out with a, oh, well, I didn't have the space or I wasn't at home and I didn't want to leave them on their own. Yeah, is that because you're afraid they might steal stuff? Is that what happened there? Okay, so you don't trust the person that you left into the house, do you? Where was that sort of compassion for Irish people? Did you not have any? Did you not open your heart and open your home to Irish people and let them in? And something that the left like to use as well, you try to use that as an attempt at it got you, but you don't want any homeless Irish living with you. Correct. I don't want anybody else living with me other than my family. I don't want anybody else living with me other than my family. But what I do think is, and I do think we have an obligation to, what I think we as a people do, and essentially our government do, we should be looking after our own before we even think about letting people in from other places that have issues. Like, that's where I stand. And I think that people that have nothing here in this country that are Irish, they should be in houses that have been built for them, like these modular homes, until they get on their feet or whatever it might be. But I don't think we should be letting every Tom, Dick and Harry in from across the world and saying, yeah, you can have a gaff there, pal. While Rosie there, that's Rosie Connolly or whatever her name is again, this is a figment of my imagination here, a fictional person is sleeping out rough on the street. I don't think that's right. So I don't agree with this whatsoever, and I think an awful lot of other people won't agree with this too. And I'm going to be making a video about this because this disgusting woman, this vile individual, is someone that needs to be removed from office as soon as possible. Mead, you have a duty to Ireland right now to ensure that this person does not win the next election. You have a duty to Ireland to ensure that this person doesn't win a seat ever again. I'm throwing that gauntlet down to Mead. You must do it. This person can't sniff another seat ever again. This wicked witch of the West. Unbelievable it is that these things are being said, and then these people have the fucking gall to turn around and say to you that Ireland for the Irish is not a positive quote. Are you serious? They've gone off the reservation here now, lads. And here's the left. So there's lots to unpack from this one. Dublin Bay North PBP. Now, they're being called stuff online. They are, again, I'm not saying it, but other people are. They're being called certain things like, certain things before paddies. So a lot of people are saying it online. They had a wobbler because Carla O'Connor, who is there, that's a Ballinrobe local. So this is a woman that has been active with stuff in the last couple of years, and she has an English accent. So we'll bat that from the off, okay? Joey Barton as well too has also been saying great things. People that say you're supporting someone that's British and you're liking their tweets and all that, and that must mean that you're anti-Irish. You have gone so far off the reservation, you are beyond saving. You were so low IQ, it's not even funny. You know, I think you might be mentally challenged when you come to me and say to me that liking Joey Barton's tweet or liking someone else's tweet there that happens to be from Britain is anti-Irish. You were insane. You're an insane person. Because what they're saying is logically correct. I want Joey Barton in the UK. I don't want them here running Ireland. You know what I'm saying? But I can agree with him when he says that female commentators on men's football is ridiculous. I can fully agree with him on that. And I can also agree with this woman here who has an English accent that lives in Ballinrobe saying, hang on here for a sec, this is a big problem. I just want you to pay close attention to the woman's name, O'Connor. Now, I don't know about you, but certainly that seems like more of an Irish name than Abdul Makalahavlev or whatever it might be. Do you know what I'm saying? That seems like more of an Irish name than Kalechi in Bahambaway. That seems like more of an Irish name than Rostov Ibrahimovic. You know what I'm saying? Ibrahimovic, people be like, that's the footballer ninja. So that's the point. And these people are so warped that they think, yeah, that's no problem. As long as the foreigner doesn't look like us, they can totally have a say. And when they come with an accent, that's no problem at all. We're going to tell you a racist if you point to that. But yet they've no problem saying this about this one. I quoted them and it's just like, just say it's hey white people and just leave it at that. Well, you know, because this is all that you are showing us. English woman living in Mayo goes on TV to complain about people from foreign countries coming to live in Mayo. Is this the Twilight Zone? It certainly is when you've got people that come from shithole countries over to my country and tell us how we should run things. Do you get me? And this is the thing. These people are that stupid. They don't see that sentiment. They don't see that sort of logic at all. They're going, no, that's just racist. And you're going, no. You're so far off the deep end. But these people have a vested interest, and what has happened over the last while as well, there's been a solicitor as well too that seems to be a pro-immigration solicitor that wears silly t-shirts, and it seems like he is linked in, allegedly, speculatively, with immigration into Ireland. Strange that, isn't it? That's almost like someone possibly could potentially benefit from that. Again, allegedly, speculatively. So this is how they treat you. And then it was hilarious, guys, because then Virgin Media, they had John McGurk, they did. And again, I have me reservations and have me qualms with John McGurk. But at the end of the day, he did say things that were true. And it is somewhat getting out there now. The tide has started the turn where they're inviting him on. The presenter, whoever she is, was barking at McGurk, and McGurk is just looking at her laughing. And then you'd Neil Richmond, Cabbage Patch Head there, is sitting there. He always looks like he's bursting for the shite, doesn't he, when he's talking? I know that's very crude. People will be like, oh, that's extremely crude, Ninja. But you know, I'm off the handle now at this stage of the game. I'm just going to tell you things as how I see them. That fella looks like he's constantly constipated. And wouldn't you be when you're full of fucking shit like Neil Richmond is? So anyway, you've got these people then that are badgering and barking at John McGurk on Virgin Media. And then the left, they came out and they were like, Joe Daly made some great points. Is that the same Joe Daly that runs away from the Irish inquiry? Is that the same Joe Daly? Is that him that won't answer questions and keeps telling the lads that they're ristophobes and he won't answer any questions about them at all? Is that the same Joe Daly? And he's sitting there with headphones on him going, well, I think that there's a big problem. Yeah, there is a big problem, Joe. There's a big problem because there's people being fired into this country hand over fist that we don't know who they are, where they are from, and what they have done in those countries. Because let me tell you, as Donald Trump would say, they're not selling the best. They're not sending the best people from those countries. Where do you think they're coming from? And see, little fellas, little like Joe, little frigets like Joe, those fellas, they are the ones that these people take advantage of. They look at them and they go, that's weakness there. And you're seeing people getting slaps. There was actually another video that was put up by Toby and it was put up by Mick O'Keefe as well too, of Irish lads and an African fellow, I think it was there in Galway, produced a knife, produced a blade. Now, Idris Elba, only last week, was talking about the knife crime in London. Now, apparently, according to statistics, knife crime in London is very high amongst one particular group. I'll let you dwell on that and see who you think that is, because Idris Elba was the one that came out and spoke. And then he said, it's not a black problem. I beg to disagree there, Idris, because guess what, dude? It seems like a large amount of them are involved in that. So this stuff is starting to happen now in Ireland. Not only that, then, but you're seeing them videos come out nearly weekly at this stage of Irish lads and foreign lads in scuffles. That's going to become more normalised insofar as this is going to be something that the media aren't even going to touch anymore. They're going to go, I don't want to know about that. Did anyone see as well too? What's your woman's name? Alana Quinn. Was that the girl's name? The girl that had that lost the eye. Yeah, I don't know the full name, but something was strange. And again, it's all about the detail. Now I'm watching that Reacher recently as well too. That's been quite a good show it has. And he's just like, details matter. And I was like that quote, gonna use that one. So details do matter. RTE put out an article. So this is the state broadcaster, okay? And they put out an article and they said one of the fellas, I think, that got a 2-year sentence, right? Now, just again, details again. This is what these people reported. And they said that this guy got 2 years, but he didn't strike her. So I'm looking at that going, but sure, what did he get 2 years for then? Like, if that's the case, should everybody that's involved in the brawl that happened to be there, should they not all be getting jail time, including her? And people say, that's unfair, Ninja, she lost an eye. But what was going on? How come there's no CCTV? How come it has been acknowledged that guy didn't strike her, but yeah, he's getting sent down for 2 years? That's strange to me. And then they rolled her out then. And again, it's 72 hours is what I decide to people. Give it 3 days, right? And maybe even more than that. You could say maybe even 5 days, maybe even 6 days from the initial media scramble. And then they're been rolled out then onto the likes of talk shows and how are you feeling? You're such a brave person. And they give it the, yeah, I am. And then they talk about the far right. And you're going, well, it looks like someone's been maneuvered. So anyway, the left out here shining stupidity, showing us yet again. Stop asking why they are doing this to us. Start asking why the fuck are we allowing it. I like that meme. That's a banger of a meme. Because that's something that we continually do. And look, I know I'm guilty of that as well too. Look at how last time we've been on Gab, 556 posts. I love it over here. It's great. The people are just so awake over here and they're getting involved. So yeah, I like that one there. That was the office. That's your man Krasinski as well too. They've told him you can't be Mr. Fantastic anymore, but we're going to cast Pedro Pascal. That's weird. That's strange. Pedro Pascal's a weird individual. So anyway, let's keep moving on. Oh, this came out, I think, yesterday. And I was just like, there it is. And this is subscriber only. Now, the subscriber, and this is the thing, by the way, the left never seem to do this. They seem to have a big problem with people on this side of the fence. And in particular, like, you know, people that are out there doing a great job, like the likes of Philip Dwyer, when they put up a link or that like that, like a buy me a coffee or whatever like that. And they have a dramatic issue with that situation. But they never have an issue with people like the Irish Times. When I say that, mega corporations and outlets there that get funding from various different places, allegedly speculated, I don't know where they get the funding from, but that they have become subscriber only, so you have to pay for their content. Amazing that, isn't it? But the left never seem to have a problem with that, because what happens with these people? Oh, they seem to agree with what the left are saying. Now, you've seen recently as well too, certain media outlets are starting to obviously hit the panic button, and they're starting to say things that would have been deemed far right only 2 months ago. And now you're seeing articles come out from these people that are like, I think we've taken so many people in and I don't think this is working out. Because guess what? I would imagine that is directly impacting people that are within the media now. I would imagine that there are people there that are afraid to walk streets and certain streets to where they work, or they're seeing things, or they are getting engaged with people on the street that is now starting to wake them up. Because here's the thing, like I said before, I'm not going to be a victim. People that are around on this side of the fence ain't going to be a victim. I see this side of the fence, I'm looking at them like they're going to be all right. It's you people that are going to be the victims. And you're the very people that I've been saying, hey, you need to watch out for this. But what you people keep doing is you keep calling people istophobes. Have you not seen the people that have gotten, taken wallops across in the United States of America? It's the same in France as well too. And it's the same here now, and the same in the UK. They've got people that are like, we should have open border policies. Great. And you're going to be the one that's going to suffer from that, because they're going to spot you and they're going to go, well, easy target there. Bradgar and Martin circulated as names for top Brussels job after surprise resignation. There it is. These two fellas now have been running around for the last while doing the bidding of whoever it may be above them. And this is something as well too. It's a video I'm going to do as well. Gript did a story on it, he did, and I think it was a Sean Kelly MEP who was saying 70% of the stuff is coming down from the EU. So basically what he was saying was what I had said probably a year and a half ago, maybe even 2 years ago, which is that people here in government, politicians, are just administrators. So we're paying the wages of very expensive administrators here, guys, because they've been told what to do and they're just going, oh, well, sure, look. And then they're doing it. We need out of the EU ASAP. And people would say, well, that's difficult and we like the EU and all that. You've been totally psyoped into thinking that we can't do anything without the EU. You've been totally psyoped into believing and loving the EU. You should not love the EU. The EU has been shown and has been proven now at this stage of the game to be a many tentacled octopus at this stage of the game. And it has just reeled countries in and it has absolutely swallowed them. And it's totally negative. You need to get out of it. It's a very, very poor organization and it has led to this discontent that we're seeing in this island. Without the EU, we would be okay. 100%. With the EU, we're in problems and problem territory. And politicians, by the way, know this. And see, politicians here have always made this play to go and work in Europe because this is the thing. They know that that's the next step up on the ladder. And when they go over to the likes of Brussels or any other kip in the European Union, they're not going to be spoken to on the street by any because nobody will know who they are. I was watching I'm a Celebrity before Christmas, and I happened to watch a few bits of it because I was like, well, I was interested in seeing what Farage did and how he came across. He came across really well. Very clever individual, obviously, that he was able to navigate certain situations and not explode it into something more massive and give us, I would even allege his actual opinion on certain things. I think he tempered it an awful lot there, so that a lot of people maybe had a different opinion of him going over. Again, allegedly, respectfully. But one thing that he said that stuck with me, and he said it in passing, and he didn't bring any sort of attention to it. There was no articles about it at all, and I was amazed that ITV actually left it in. He said that when they go to Brussels and he was there, he says, I was given €300 a day. He says, and I was able to eat there for a little or nothing anyway. So he still had €300 a day that he was pocketing. And that's not just him, by the way. That's everybody that's there. According to him now, these are his words, not mine. And then he says, and the women. And I was looking and I was like, where's he going with this? And he says, the women, they just throw themselves at you. And I sat and I thought to myself, and I said to myself, wow. I was just like, that is just what it's all down to. Few shillings on the day and women firing themselves at you there because you're in that position. Now, you have a look, and I keep saying it. You have a look at the politicians here in this country. As far as I'm concerned, ugly actors. That's what they've been called worldwide. Not just me saying it, other people saying it too. Ugly actors, ugly theatre performers is what we have. And when you think about it like that, actually kind of makes sense. Have you seen Micheál Martin's wife? Have a look at her. I've said it before. She looks like the white orc there from Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. Gottmog is the name of it. You know, the one that's like, the age of the orc is there. You know that one? That one. So that one. Have a look at that and have a look at Micheál Martin's wife. Now, again, I'm not making any allegations here or anything like that, but I would find it hard to believe. That if that fella went around Europe and there was a couple of floozies in the jacuzzi, as they say. Anyway, and Varadkar has proven to be a cheat as well. This is the thing. Varadkar was smooching some fella he was there in some nightclub only recently. And then his partner is like, no comment on that one there. And the lads are still living together and they're like, shh, sweep her under the carpet. But Leo was happy enough to cheat on his partner and was caught in a public setting. That's pretty interesting, isn't it? Very interesting that. So you're dealing with people here that seem to have no conscience. They have no morality. They have no morals. They have no principles. So when I see this here and I see that there have been names that have been circulated for the top job, I'm not shocked. And I'm like, there it is. There's the nodding dog. There's the pat on the head. And I've been saying it for quite some time. I think that I thought Pascal Donoghue was the one that was sort of being pushed towards this job. I know he's going to try and move over to the IMF, allegedly, respectively. That's the sort of speak that's been out there in the media. And these people are all really aware that their seats are under threat. And certainly when people say, hang on, I didn't vote for him. Oh, you didn't vote for either. And then there's a gang of 20 people that go, no, we didn't vote for him. And then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And they go, okay, right, this is suspect. These people are all reading the tea leaves here. Pascal Donoghue, Micheál Martin, Leo Varadkar. Pascal Donoghue has been saying things about failures and about policies and things that haven't gone right. He's well aware of what's going on. And he's well aware of the situation that he's in, which is he wants to get out as fast as possible and get to somewhere else rather than sort of hanging around Ireland. And these are the same things. This is why these people are mad for the EU and they love the EU, and that's why they keep pushing it out into the media, because this is where these guys go. That's the thing. This is the retirement home for these guys, and Nigel Farage said as much. Councillor Noel Thomas, I'm more entitled to be in Fianna Fáil than the likes of Micheál Martin. Councillor Thomas told RTE's Radio Morning Ireland that the only information he had received about such action was via the media. He should be calling this fella into question 100%. But he should also then be saying no confidence in trying to oust him as leader. Surely there's enough people within Fianna Fáil to do that. And if there isn't, this guy needs to be saying things. Now, there's a follow-up to this story, and I'm telling you, lads, it's absolutely unbelievable to see what they're doing now. I don't know what sort of psyop has been played upon people, but I'm telling you, there's two ways of looking at the situation, and we'll get to it now in a few moments. Pakistan uses artificial rain in an attempt to cut pollution levels. So for anyone out there that has been calling into question, like myself and other people, that why are planes drawing X's and O's in the sky, here's why. Cloud seeding improves air quality in the city of Lahore, but experts say practice is not a sustainable solution. Now, what has been happening here in Ireland, and I want you to keep an eye on planes that are flying in the sky. They've started to fly them during the night, by the way, and started to put the clouds over there. What are the media peppering you with now in the articles that they're pushing out? They're peppering you with this being the coldest winter of all time, and that minus drops are happening and they're going to continue happening. If you keep blocking out the sun, that's what's going to happen. The place is going to become colder. So they are admitting, this is from The Guardian. And I've also showed you before as well too, an American website that was another source as well too. Again, when we say source as well too, these are the ones that are establishment, credible sources, if you want to even call them that. And these people are saying that they're openly admitting to these things. So they're openly telling you that weather control is something within their wheelhouse. Now, if you don't know something, and it trended on Twitter not too long ago, it's called HAARP, H-A-A-R-P. And these are supposedly weather weapons that are being able to be used that create earthquakes and tsunamis and various other things, allegedly, speculatively on that one. But when you see them being able to do that, and then you see the media over here crying about, oh God, guys, it's actually really cold here, what are we going to do? Well, then you get to see where these things come from. This is not by accident. This is all by design. And I don't remember clouds when I was a kid being all sorts of lions or anything like that, but they seem to be lions these days, don't they? So keep an eye on that, and the more people that wake up to that, the better. I like this one here. Do not make peace with evil, destroy it. I like that one there. I think that's a positive. It's a positive thing. I think it's a really, really good one. And when you're seeing as well too, a lot of these quotes, I really like them. We keep going here. We have done it, Owen Jones. We have made the population 99% Muslim. That is great, comrade. What a win for inclusivity and a big loss for fascists. Again, the people that will call you fascist don't know the meaning of the word. Fascist, racist, bad guy from Germany, 1935 to 1930 to 1940s. Now, what's happening, by the way, due to all the messing over the last couple of years, people are starting to call history into question. They're like, given the people that are crawling our sewers there in MIC and what they've been up to, I don't know. I don't know what way things actually shook out. That is great. So fascists, they don't know the word for it at all. Brown, hate crimes against LGBT have increased 99% and stares in panic. So there you go. That's a good meme there. I like that one. This is Hassan. Hassan was born in Sweden. Hassan is Swedish. This is Misho. Misho was born in an aquarium. Misho is a fish. You know, it's self-explanatory there now. I like that one there too. I think it's good. Max Lugaver says this. Max Lugaver says, publish a study that finds red meat isn't killing you. Everyone gets mad, and Harvard responds, put this on the shelves and target children. No one says a word. No one says a word. Clown world. Cap'n Crunch's Ocean Blue artificially maple flavored syrup. Now, I don't know about you, but certainly when it comes to this carnivore diet thing, I'm starting to see a lot more people that are getting involved with it, and it is remarkable. And I will always say, do your research, look into it, and see what people are doing. I was looking at a guy recently, and he was doing one of those kind of, a lot of people are starting to do it now. They're starting to buy up land in rural parts of America, American people. They're going out there and they're living off the land. And this guy in particular, he became a carnivore dieter, and he dropped a lot of weight. His psoriasis went away, and he said he was feeling great. His joints had never been better. His muscles had never felt better. Jordan Peterson is also claiming it's one of the most amazing things he's ever done. His daughter is doing the same. So she cured all sorts of problems there. Again, don't take my word for it. Look into these people, see what they think. The most recent one was Chad Mendes, an MMA fighter, fights in the UFC. Have a look at his Instagram. He put up pictures of his psoriasis. It looked like he was a Burns victim. And he said after 2 weeks, I want to say it's incredible on his legs, on his shins in particular. I thought the lad had been in a fire or something like that. And he said after 2 weeks, it had cleared up. That was just eating meat. and eating cheese, I think, and fruits. I was like, that's pretty interesting. Now, I don't know about you, but it's certainly something I've been thinking about and doing my own self and my own life as well too. The diet has changed, it has, and I've found that it's really helpful. And I find whenever there's like a takeaway floating around, and to see the likes of those oils, not that the likes of olive oil and seed oils, not that they're not good for you. They're not good for you. But people are trying to say, if you said to someone, I'm going on a carnivore diet, they'd say to you, that's extreme. And then you go, but you're going to eat those 15 different cakes there, are you? And they're going to eat all that stuff there lathered in oil, are you? Oh yeah, no problem. No issue with that. That's how we've been societally changed and as culturally have been affected by these things to think that this is normal and that eating steaks is a bad idea. Incredible, isn't it? Meet your Civil War opponents. Ireland is in the midst of one of these, in my humble opinion, allegedly, respectively, when it comes to this. Because what you're seeing is you're seeing maneuvers being made through various different means where you've got like political policing, in my humble opinion. Again, that's a genuinely held opinion on that one. I think when you're seeing people in uniform knocking on people's doors and asking them questions about things they're posting online and the facts that they're not fans. I saw there recently as well too, a guy was in court for apparently sending abuse ridden messages towards TDs and councillors and all like that. And I was like, so this guy was brought to court because he said mean things through tweets or through words. As Satirical Soldier says, noises that came out of his face. Yet you were seeing people get up to all sorts of skullduggery and negativity. Like, for example, the people that get suspended sentences. You know what type of people I'm talking about. You know the people that 100 years ago, not even 100 years ago, probably even 30, 40 years ago, would have been dealt with immediately. And instead now it's like, put them on trial. Ah, well, suspend the sentence there. Like your man there with the Ballymallow. You know what I'm saying? People that would have been just totally put into somewhere and never been able to return again. And what I'm saying about that as a prison, which is what actually should be happening to these people. Instead, they're walking the streets. Incredible stuff. But these are the type of goofballs that are online calling you an istaphobe. Absolute bums. Complete bums. And isn't it interesting as well, too, when I've seen a movie coming out there, it's coming out, I think, next year or the year after, maybe. That's if we get that far. And it's called Civil War. Tell you what, lads, a lot of these things that you do is predictive programming. So have a look at that trailer, see what you think, let me know. But these are the goofies that they're saying to you, they're going to bash the fashion, they're going to take sides, and they're going to be totally there in the trenches. These are people, by the way, that went over to the blue and yellow flag waving country and couldn't hack it after 2 days. New Zealand Massey University's queer fat studies lecturer and fatlicious feminist passes suddenly in her sleep. What a shame. What a shame. At 42, don't care about your beauty standards. It doesn't make me less pretty or healthy. Stops. Faith is powerful. That's why Christian nationalism is so dangerous. Christian nationalism is dangerous for you. That's the impression they're paying there. Oh man, I tell you, anytime that you look at Chris Nolan's villains in the movies nowadays, with what's going on, I'm like, yikes. I think Batman's the villain in these movies, guys. I think Batman might be the villain because when you look at the motivations of these guys and what they're doing, you got to look at that and you got to say to yourself, Christopher Nolan maybe was ahead of the times and maybe has given us stuff to think about nowadays. Some of the stuff that Ra's al Ghul, played by Liam Neeson, says, I'm like, how could you view that as being villainous? People say, well, Ninja, the means with which he did things. No, I agree with you. I get you. And that's why they make them a villain, because if they didn't, well, you know, I think people would be starting to agree with them. They'd be like, yeah, that's why he likes the Joker movie, for example. That's why that got a lot of heat at the time with Joaquin Phoenix, because people were like, oh, this is going to inspire all sorts. I'm not joking, you guys. I watched that movie and came out of it and I was just like, fucker was right, I think. Do you know what I mean? I was looking at that going, yeah, some of the things that he did there, pretty interesting, you know? And even the Heath Ledger Joker, fantastic. Two-Face as well, too, wanting to talk about the corruption and the unfairness and the injustice that was going on. And I was like, yeah, on that one as well, too. Bane, the same thing. Interesting times, boys. So there's Joey Barton there. Says, how is she even talking about men's football? She can't even kick a ball properly. Your coverage of the game, EFC last night, took it to a new low. Eno Luca and Lucy Ward, the Fred and Rose West of football commentary. I laughed so hard at that. And this is the thing. This is where Elon Musk's Twitter has brought us, that these comments are being made and that's getting picked up. And the media do it every time. I know I started it earlier on, but that was a prelude to what I'm going to say here now. the media cover this incident, right, where he's been saying things, and of course now you might say, oh, that's offensive or whatever like that, but they say vile and disgusting, and they try to throw the man's character into question. It's not working anymore, because when the media are calling things vile and disgusting and then are failing to report on the Epstein situation and are failing to report about people that are up to no good, like I was saying earlier on, that society probably would have dealt with about 20, 30 years ago, are instead now are being given suspended sentences, you then see them people that are going, I don't give a shit what you think. I don't give a shit about who you were calling vile. And by the way, it's the play of an awful lot of female pundits and female journalists, by the way, to call things vile and disgusting and horrid and horrific and all that. And what they do is they hide the actual statement. And what they try to do is they try to character assassinate before they even tell you what's been said. I think most people, when they looked at that comment from Barton, and which they did, because he's had to get in a lot of support, and I'm just talking about this because this is all linked into what's going on. She's there from a woke, tokenistic point of view. She's there because she's black. She is a terrible footballer, and she has used her race to try and shove herself into various different positions, which she has. I think she got a coach sacked as well too, because she was claiming that the guy was racist, which there was very little proof of, if any. I don't think there was any, to be quite honest with you. And the guy was relieved of duties he was, and this woman continued on. It's scandalous stuff. So it's come to Barton, and I mean, here's the thing. Joey Barton's the beginning of it, because I'm sure that there'll be more people that will come out and say things. I mean, you're never going to get the sort of comment like that over Rio Ferdinand or Gary Neville or Gary Lineker either, because these people are all on the left. They're all mad for it there. And this is the thing. They are all in the club. Joey Barton's not in the club, so he's looking at it going, I'm not getting a job at Sky, I'm not getting a job at TNT, BT, whatever they're calling themselves now. And he's like, fucker, I might as well say something. And this is the thing. This is the good thing about Twitter, because he's saying something and people are like, yeah. People are posting clips of Marcus Rashford. And again, this is, I suppose, an off topic, but they're posting clips of people now and they're drawing eyes with, whereas, and this is the importance of Twitter, whereas the eyes weren't drawn to that situation before. You know what I'm saying? 2-minute, 3-minute clips of Marcus Rashford being terrible and getting paid £350,000 a week and he's drawn around the place. That's not being shown by Sky. And now Sky have had to react to that, because there was one guy on Twitter, one fucking anonymous account that's like, look at this fella. And now Sky are like, shit, we have to address the fact that this guy is brutal. Okay, let's jump into this, because this is super important. This is Jeremy Godfrey. Godfrey. Now, this fella looks like Big Bird from the Muppets, and I'm sure with the gunner eye as well too. Our mortgage eye is here, one eye fixed and one eye variable. This fella has been put in charge of policing content that is being put up online. So this goofball, I have this theory, okay? And here's the thing, especially when you look at all these ugly individuals like Helen McEntee, like this guy, and like people on the left in particular. I have this theory that these people were bullied hard. I think they were bullied hard throughout life. And they were bullied by people in times that people said things and did things where they weren't looked upon as they are now. And now they are coming back with a vengeance. Look at a goofball like Bill Gates, for example. Look at him. And him running around telling you he's some sort of guru when it comes to health. He's telling you that Joe Rogan is unhealthy. That's insane. What a stupid world we live in. But what happens is that the Joe Rogans of the world, not Joe Rogan himself, but people like him, would have put fellas like Bill Gates into lockers. They would have waited for him in the PE class, and they would have said, you want to say a smart comment there in class? Wait until you get out here, pal. And these guys remember. And this is, in my opinion, what it's all about. So this guy has connections to various different places, but I mean, look at the goofy head of it. And this is a person that's going to be telling you and me what we can and can't say. No, I think you've come to the wrong country, pal, to be thinking that you're going to do that, because people are going to say what they're going to say. And that's how Ireland and how Irish people have behaved for the last number of years. Of course, as well, too, you have people over the last few years that they're talking and has been altered and changed. I know one or two people that when you're in a room with them, they'd say, oh, you can't say that. And I'd say to them, you'd want to shut the fuck up, because you can say that. And I will say that. And these people are just startled about that sort of response, because these people don't understand, nor do they value free speech. I suppose it's when you've traveled to different places, and especially the likes of America, where they value free speech. Absolutely. It's a fundamental belief that free speech is important, that we don't believe that. Here in Ireland, I don't think we believe in that enough. We have a constitutional right to free speech here, we do. And yet these people are talking about hate speech laws. And this is where I'm going with these things. When you start to roll these hate speech laws into town, then this government is becoming increasingly like a dictatorship. And it is then going to tell you that the likes of political parties, you can't support them. Now, these are the same politicians, by the way, that are running around telling you that what happened in Germany was terrible, and they're going to talk about it and revisit and relive it and make sure it stays in the mind forevermore. And then these are the same people that are voting for you to be forcefully injected with things. Get the fuck. No way. I'm a bit animated tonight because I tell you what, it's been a couple of weeks off and I have a bit of animation here now going. And when you show me an individual like this, and it doesn't matter who it is, it might be a goofball or it might not be a goofball, but this is my attitude towards you. That's my attitude towards you. Each and every single time. You think you're going to roll into town and tell us what we're going to say? Not a chance. Have one of those. Have one of those. Absolute ludicrous stuff that we're putting up with here in this country. And it goes back to that meme up above as well too. Not that why are doing this, why are we allowing this? Michael Collins had a totally different view when it came to things like this here. British wanted to do things here in Ireland. What did they do? They said, I'm not having that. We're living in mad times. We are living in mad times. Let's have a look here at this. This is how the mocking board media works, by the way, too, as well. So what you're seeing here is 4 different places. You can see the Journal, Irish Examiner, Breaking News, and Irish Independent, with a variation of the same story. Okay, so what you see is, you see now how they work in tandem. And again, look at this: 50 comments here, 9 likes, 7,000 views. They've got 3,000 views over here, 5 likes, 13 comments, largely negative. So what happens is, in my opinion, and again, you see with politicians and media figures and leftists, they all obviously get the same script and are told, roll out with that there now real quick there, guys. And they go, all right. And they all do it at the same time. And it's becoming so noticeable. People are going, look what they're doing. This is the new thing now. And they panic then when people bring attention to it. They're like, oh, they're saying it over there. It's funny how these are all coming out at the same time saying the same thing. And it doesn't work anymore. The Taoiseach and Taoiseach have expressed concerns over X. Absolutely, they've concerns over X because now there's information getting out there that wasn't getting out before. And it goes to show you, doesn't it, that since X has lifted its information ban, that these people are super panicked. They're using words like misinformation and disinformation. These are people that are telling you that the stuff there for the last couple of years were super duper safe and effective. If you took the stuff there that you were never going to get sick, people end up getting sick. People end up passing. People now have suddenlies and turbo cancers. People now have multiple sclerosis and cerebral palsy and various other issues, again, allegedly, respectively, because these things all have yet to be studied and have yet to be brought out. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical practitioner, but I know from personal experience, there's a lot of people having an awful lot of problems. So, of course, X is a problem for these people because guess what? If you're challenged on a narrative that has been given for the last while, which is what was happening on Twitter beforehand, if I went out, and this is why I was removed from Twitter, I fundamentally believe it, was because I was tweeting saying this stuff that's going on here is evil, what they're trying to do. And I'm sure it greatly bothered them. It greatly bothered them that there was some person saying with a microphone, I don't think what these people are doing is right. If you want to go and take the stuff, fire ahead there. And if you want to wear a mask, go ahead, fire ahead. But don't force this stuff upon me. I don't want it. And then they did. And I was like, okay, now you've bugged me. You know, now you've not left me alone. Formerly Twitter, after it was reported last week that the social who reported this? That the social media platform has instructed staff not to suspend the users that post explicitly ist, and phobic content. Okay. So that's, again, words that you don't like, that you find offensive, that is being allowed on the platform. Where's the issue in that? Do you know what Elon Musk did as soon as he came in? He told people that had stuff with relation to kids, if you know what I'm talking about there, prawns, the prawns. If they had that, you're all gone. And then this other social media site became big then. It was called Mastodon. And some very specific people scarpered over to Mastodon really quickly then and tried to make it a big thing. It didn't work. It flopped. So how is it that you have an issue with Elon Musk there with posting these things there? And a lot of it's to do with jokes and a lot of it's to point out the obvious. This was all censored. What they're actually telling you here is actually an own goal. This was all censored beforehand and now people are able to roll it out. That Jewish tunnel stuff there in NYC, that never would have gotten out on X. Never. Until this happened. And now people are like, hang on here for a sec. There's people underground. What are they doing? They have a high chair down there. They have mattresses with stains on them. What's happening? Taoiseach and Taoiseach accuse X of content moderation failures. We want to police your speech there now.
Yeah. Like, I don't like the fact that you're pointing out that I'm Indian and that I've come across here and I'm causing bother. And I also don't like the fact that you're pointing out that I'm a a homosexual either. And Roderick is one too. And the previous Minister for Children was homosexual also.
That's kind of weird when you phrase it like that, isn't it? Kind of weird that people that have no future in Ireland, and certainly no future prospectively or progeny or anything like that, kind of weird that you guys are the ones that are causing so much mayhem, isn't it? I think that's strange. Micheál Martin has kids, and shame on him, a deep shame upon him. How do your children, Micheál, how do your children look you in the eye with any sort of respect? How do they do that? Do they? Because I tell you what, if you were my old boy, I'd be telling you exactly what I thought of you. But yeah, you see his son who plays in goal for Cork GAA out there for a Christmas dip with him there. Oh, we got the picture there now, we will now. Young Micheál, we got the picture there now, yeah. This fella is absolutely loathed. And has every right to be loathed because of what he's been doing. Backwards way of sovereignty. You must be joking me here. What a treasonous individual and pair that we have here running this country. Where else would you get it? The nonsense. Varadkar Martin accused X of content moderation failures. Elon Musk's Twitter has always been a sewer, says Varadkar. Well, that's ironic, isn't it? I think that's ironic. Very ironic. Anyway, Sinn Féin. You're a splinter group. Everyone's like, no. Sinn Féin are in big trouble as well too. So I'm one of the few channels, by the way, that will criticise Sinn Féin. So some people out there, there's one YouTuber, there's one person that's out there. I won't mention the name or anything like that. You'll probably be able to figure it out pretty quickly. But one person that likes to be quite cynical, and they post stuff up that's critical of the government. And I was looking at the channel and I was scrolling and I was just like, didn't take me long, obviously, and I was like, there's not one Sinn Féin video here like anti-Sinn Féin, not even anti-Sinn Féin, but certainly critical of Sinn Féin considering what they're doing. And then I had a look at this person's Twitter. And they're liking posts from Sinn Féin. I was just like, oh, there is it. There it is. And this person's getting pushed massively in the algorithm. And I'm like, okay, that's the reason for the layoff, by the way. I'm going to see how the algorithm goes here. We've got 200 plus in here tonight. Thanks for being here. Much appreciated. But I was also trying to play with that a little bit and see, like, wonder what'll happen here. I've also got another kind of plan as well, too, with regards to the channel. I'm thinking of setting up separate channels. Maybe a sports channel, an entertainment channel, I suppose. Sports and entertainment, perhaps. And then another one then that talks about action figures and stuff like that. Because I know when I post a video here, it doesn't interest lots of people. People are like 6,000 people following this going, what's he doing? Talking about Power Rangers? What's he doing? And he's talking about Irish things. Again, I know. So I'm like, maybe I might switch things up. That's probably the way I'll go from now on. So I'll just let you know on that one. But we'll keep progressing. The 4 pillars of modern Irish politics. Let's copy what another country does. Let's slap a tax on it. Fucking taxes, man. Honestly, Ireland is built on taxes at this stage of the game. They'll tax everything. If the Irish government could, they tax the air that you breathe. Why do they even say that? Because there's probably something these shitheads are going to try and do. It's people that say, that's the carbon tax ninja. You're right there. Let's ban it. Let's fund a new NGO to sort that thing. Whoever made that meme, you're spot on. That is exactly Ireland in a nutshell. And that's what people that are going to be running for office now in the nationalist side of things are going to be doing the opposite of. We need less government. We need less taxes. We need less rules and laws. And we need to enforce the basics. That's what we need to do. Instead of all of this nonsense, let's ban it. Let's put a sugar tax on the sugar we do because there's an obesity problem. Are we going to build things for people to go and be able to train in? Are we going to subsidise gyms? Are we going to make sure that we have a massive gym that's able to cater to people around that? No, what are we going to do? We're going to tell Coca-Cola that they have to cut the Coca-Cola down in the bottle there by 10% in the sugars. And then if you don't, we're going to slap a massive tax on it. Great stuff, lads. People are still going to drink that anyway, though. Nonsense. Let's keep going and let's see. Leftist, whenever a straight white male has a valid opinion, that is 100% the truth here, guys. That is 100% the truth. Town, wooden doors. Paulie, 8 down. And my mother, wooden doors. Town, get the fuck out of here. It's Sopranos. If you know what, if you know, you know. Paulie Walnuts has become one big one there over the last while. Cash is here to stay, but new rules and ATMs being planned, said Finance Minister. Here's the thing. This article came out and they were like, oh, cash is here to stay. And people went, yay. And then they didn't read the fine print. Michael McGrath says new legislation will be tabled next year, which will look at how much cash people should have reasonable access to. What the fuck do you mean reasonable access to? What do you mean by that? How do you mean that sentence? How do you mean it? How? How do you mean? That's insane. That is an insane statement. How has he said that and has gotten no backlash and no blowback? How have you said reasonable access? How? If someone wants to go down and withdraw all of their money out of the bank, they should be perfectly entitled to do that. I know people that regularly withdraw their money out of the bank, and they get phone calls from the bank. What are you doing with that? None of your business is the answer that most of these fellas give back to them. But the gall of them, what are you doing with that? Sure, it's my money. And everything now is linked to a bank account. Have you not noticed that as well too? What job can you walk in now, barring, I suppose, a trade? Trades are going to be the next thing, by the way. If you're going to start pushing people towards trades, that's a good idea. They're going to be the only jobs that people are going to be able to do cash. But what they're going to look to do is, by the way, they're going to try and squeeze everybody else. So is that tradesman won't be able to take the cash anymore. That'll be too expensive for you to withdraw the cash, and that you'll have to do it through an online transfer where it's going to cost them money as a result. Because these people all know. But that is insane. That is crazy to think that they're putting in new legislation to be tabled this year. Have a look at how much people are allowed to have. That's what they've just said. That is bonkers. And whilst all of the silly stuff is going on here in this country, these are things that they're doing under the table. When I say under the table, they're doing it very underhandedly. They're saying it publicly and they're going, did anybody notice that? No, they didn't. Okay, we won't say anything about that. Michael McGrath, if you're a constituent of Michael McGrath, you should be peppering him with emails now to say, what the fuck is this? What are you doing? What's this? This is a joke. I'm not voting for you. Because that's what frightens these people then ultimately is, don't do that. But you can bet your bottom dollar that this is probably some sort of think tank idea from the likes of the EU. This is ludicrous. I can't put that into context enough of how mental that is. That is insane. Let's have a look. Lockdowns, climate taxes and green energy subsidies, send aid to Ukraine, sanction Russia. Why is everything so expensive? That is a conversation with the left regularly. That is a conversation where anybody that's left-leaning, houses are very expensive. Did you support an open border policy here to this country? Did you support lockdowns? Did you support sending money over to foreign countries? Did you? Oh, you did? Well, you're getting everything you deserve right now. And unfortunately, an awful lot of people are paying for the price of your fucking stupidity. Low IQ. That's what it is, mate. Okay. This is one that I'm probably going to do a video on as well, too, because this is nuts. Okay. There was people saying all things online, by the way. There was people that were alleging that the 3 people here that are in the photo with this guy are AI generated. Things got wild here real quick. And then they were saying that they were actors. I was like, I don't know what to believe here now. But here's a very strange story that has seemingly come to an end. So the Dublin Snab hero flies home to Rio on a one-way ticket. Is there not an open guard investigation into what happened? Why is this fella, who was obviously a key witness, because that's the way the media portrayed him. They said that this guy was forced in, even though he wasn't. It was a guy called Warren that's actually Irish, but the media told him to shut up. And the Gardaí, allegedly, respectively, according to his wife. But this guy is able to fly on a one-way ticket to Brazil. And then in the article, he's like, I'll totally come back, guys. I'll totally come back. This fella pocketed 385,000 plus, from what I understand, if I remember correctly. And what is even more strange about this article is this, right? They then said he's here in Ireland because there was an electrical fire in his restaurant and he had to leave Brazil to try and get work elsewhere. Now, if you're familiar with geography, guys, okay, Ireland is so far away from Brazil, it's not even funny. You've got the likes of Mexico, you've got Argentina, you've got America itself, you've got other South American countries that this guy could have went to, and South American countries as well too, that actually speak the same language as him. But he left a previous job, which had unfortunately burned down, to become a Deliveroo driver here in Ireland. Is that not weird to you? It's certainly weird to me. The more things that come out about this story, the more I'm looking at it going, there's some very strange things that are going on here. And the fact that this guy has been let leave the country, even though he supposedly a key witness in this situation, is even more odd. It doesn't smell right with regards to this. Now, I know there's some people out there that are like, that didn't happen at all. I don't agree with that sentiment because I don't think there was a fella in hospital for no reason. I don't think there's a fella that had been arrested and has been brought to the court. By the way, they haven't really showed your man's picture at all either, which is also very strange. I don't think there's an Irish fella that's been told to shut up for no reason. I don't think that there's a situation that happens in so far as I don't think that you can say. I don't think you can say, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't say, look, free speech is the thing, and you say whatever you want, but I've every right then to say, I don't know if I agree with you there, I don't think I agree with you. But I don't think an incident like that occurs as it does. And I mean, what's the benefit for that? Like, there's some people out there that are saying that this incident didn't happen at all. And I'm saying, but what's the benefit of that for the government? Like, it's worse then because people will look at immigration and say, that's the final straw, we're not having this anymore. They look at you as a government that failed to act on this. They look at the fact then that the Gardaí are outside the school after the fact, and yet then they're being sent to mosques and what is that place called? Synagogues. I didn't even know there were synagogues here in Dublin. Sent to synagogues and to the homes of politicians. I'm like, that's a very strange response. That's extremely weird. And that's not the response these people would have wanted. And then you've got then the whole incident that happened on the Thursday night then, where they're calling it Dublin riots. And then they're trying to say, oh, that's attributed to far right people. I don't know the politics nor the you of any person that's involved in that situation. I don't know anybody. There could, for all I know, there could be people that are down there that are Fine Gael supporters. I don't know that. I'm not saying there were, but I'm saying there's every possibility. And then there's more videos that are coming out again that are alleging that fellas that were brought to Store Street were then carried out on stretchers with oxygen tanks. That's an allegation that has been made in the last 24 to 48 hours. So that's not good either. So again, this whole story is extremely strange from start to finish, and this is even more odd because how has a key witness gotten out of the country with so much money and is going on a one-way ticket? I wouldn't say. I mean, listen, he says in the article that he's going to come back and become a Deliveroo driver here again. I mean, is he Mr. Bean or something like that? Like, what's going on? Why would you do that? You're going with 385,000 back to Brazil, which is not a very rich country, especially if you're not someone that's just an ordinary head. But if you're living well over there, you're living well. Yeah, no, I'll totally come back. Well, we'll see. That's my answer to that one. We'll see. But this is a story that needs to be watched as well too from here on out, and it needs to be questioned and asked upon people. The media are trying to memory hold this as if it didn't happen, and so are politicians. They're trying to move on past it. Yeah, don't worry about that. We'll worry about what you're saying on Twitter, though. You know what I mean? Yeah, no, it's stuff like that happened in broad daylight there, but don't worry about that. You know what I mean? You're an istaphobe for posting up online that you think Ireland's for the Irish, though. That's the banana republic that we're currently living in here, and the people that are overseeing this country, the overlords, the regime, the apparatus that we're seeing here. New Hampshire, that was the one. New Hampshire becomes second US state to ban chemtrails. So that was the one I was telling you up above. Here we have an update to this here. Let's have a look at this one here. So this is RTE from again, because I like to show the dates as well too. Something that the old boy is always saying as well too. It's like, where's the date? I'm not there. Well, here's the date, okay? 30th of the 4th, 2021. There were up to 2,300 excess deaths between March 2020 and February 2021 compared to previous years, according to analysis of death notices by the Central Statistics Office. So this is from RTE, by the way. We'll move on past that one. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. So where's the follow up here? Hang on there for a sec. A bit slowing down right there. Let's go. Have a look now. Counted as a case, then if you do some sort of other issue as well, which is something that I have often heard as well too, which is insane because it's actually not a crash that has happened there. You just have expired due to a heart attack on the side of the road. So when you see that sort of counting going into things, you're like, well, what else are they doing? What else are they making into one thing and making out of another? I don't know. And that's an interesting point to be made. So what we have here is Armchair Limerick National is saying that I'm breaking up there. Am I back there? Am I all good? Should be all right here now. I think it was just going into this here. So here's the Department of Health here. Is the sound back there? I don't know if we're all back there. Audio dip. Yeah, we're back. Okay, refusing is there. We're good. Okay. So anyway, the department. This is from the 2nd of the 4th, 2024. So 3 years later, we've got the Department of Health said new research shows that Ireland had no excess deaths during the core pandemic years of 2020 to 2022. So you have posted a story in RTE that has now been told was untrue. So is that misinformation or disinformation? And is that what you call it? This is probably audio gonna dip again. Gab is acting I can't hear this. Um, okay, what I'll do is I won't click in to the pictures anymore. I'll just hope that you're able to either zoom in or able to see them from the distance that has been posted on this page. So let's keep going here. Oh yeah, we have the original. Is the just let me know if the audio is good here, guys, will you? Just in the Derek McManus is the sounds good now. Okay, it's me clicking into stuff just as we know. Okay, so anyway, there were up to 2,300 excess deaths. This is from the 30th of the 4th, 2021, between March 2020 and February 2021, and now here they are. No, there wasn't. So is that previous article not misinformation? Is that not disinformation? No. How is that not disinformation? So this is where we're at, guys, and it all leads back to that. Anyway, we've got another one here, Courtney Ryan. 45% of women will be single and childless by 2030. Yep, you can well believe that. Because they have an entire generation of women that are approaching their 30s now that have been more interested in going on holidays and being with Javier and having a good time and have been messing about and have been filled with total nonsense there, that they're God's gift to earth. Have you seen some of those? I know some people don't love this aspect of the show, but if you've seen some of those TikTok clips, have you seen some? And I'm not on TikTok, but I see some of the guys that commentate on it, and like this guy, they interview a guy, and they're like, "What do you do?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm a metal worker, I'm a construction worker, or whatever it might be, and I'm bringing in 70K or whatever like that it is." And then the woman's just like, yeah, he's great, but he could be better and all that. And then the interviewer turns to them, and they're like, "What do you bring to this relationship?" And she's just like, "Me." And like the interviewer was like, "Is that it?" And she's like, "Yeah." And acts all offended. And he's like, "But this guy is earning 70K, and then you're saying you bring your presence is enough. Is that it?" So that's why we have a generation right now that have been cultivated and have been totally ruined by 2 generations beforehand. I mean, you've got women nowadays that are modern women, not all of them, of course. I'm just saying this. This is where this 45% comes from. You've got a lot of them out there that think that they're amazing because their mothers and their grandmothers have told them they are for so long. And what has ended up happening is now they've created a generation that are 20 times worse than their grandmothers. And the guys have to work a lot harder than to even get these people to be happy. So that's why a lot of fellas are dipping out relationships. They're like, "Nah, I'm all good." I know multiple guys that are just like, "Nah, bachelor life for me." And if someone gets pregnant along the way, and I'm like, "Okay, that's an interesting way of doing things." Not the way, in my view, but they're doing it. They're happy enough. But yeah, that's a very big thing that's going to happen here as well, too, here in Ireland. That's going to be massive. And this is what part and parcel of this whole sowing of discontent is about. This is why the Kardashians are probably one of the worst things to ever be pushed upon women, in particular, because it has totally and utterly mind fucked them because they don't know what's what. And yet then you see people coming over from different cultures, like African cultures, Islamic cultures as well, too, here to Ireland. You see them, they have 5 kids, 6 kids, 8 kids. They're having families like Irish of old. And our Irish women here now are just like, "No, I'm not going to do this until I'm 30." And then there's complications and, again, sad stories. But again, oh no, I want to go to Ibiza or I want to live my best life in Australia. No, Shaniqua over there that's raising a family of 8 there since she's 23. People are like, what? That's what these people do. They do it from young age. They start young and then they go. And this is the thing. Morally and principle wise, I wouldn't agree with that, obviously. But this is what these people do. From have to look at that, guys. Blood and soil. I like that one there. You know, I think that's a very valid point there. I think it's super important, that one there. I think that's a good meme. Well, not even a meme, but I think it's a good image. You know, you've obviously got a white person that's connected to the land ancestry, and previous generations in the ground, and yet you've got a guy that's rocking up in the best of gear, best of clobber, and telling you now I'm just as Irish or as you. You know, mad stuff. Don't make me tap the sign. You don't dislike journalists enough. You think you do, but you don't. This is another one that got out during the week there. Hazel Chew was brought on to be interviewed by one of these people in the media from RTE. Look at the state of her. Look at the state of her. Patrick Costello, her husband, is a TD for the Green Party. Make sure he doesn't win a seat in the next election. That's what your job is to do in his local constituency. Make sure he doesn't get a seat there again. This is how this woman's getting any sort of airtime. But anyway, Quavine, that's on Twitter. Big shout out to Quavine. Does a lot of memes as well too. I love the fact that they're putting the memes out there. And he did a meme competition, and this was definitely my favorite one. And says, Hazel, you claim to have been born and raised in Ireland for 43 years. Yes, born Rotunda in 1980, raised in Tara. It's Tana, but okay then. How the fuck do you have a Chinese accent? And then he goes, confused Oriental noises. This is the stuff that's been posted on Twitter that the government are going, that's racist. But it's true. How does she have I was going to say Oriental. How does she have a Chinese accent after being here for so long? It's incredible. This woman is supposedly a solicitor that was on her way to becoming a barrister, if I remember correctly, and she can hardly speak properly. She can't make a sentence without stuttering. Listen, I do this stream I'm doing it now for the guts of what is about an hour and a half now, probably a little bit more. And I would say I've made a couple of errors I have, but this woman's unbelievable. You want to see the editing on her videos? Again, another error there, Ninja. You want to see the editing on her videos? She's put out 20-second clips before, and there's like 5 edits, hard edits, by the way, because I've noticed them, because since you're in the YouTube game, you notice these things. When I do my videos, I try doing my videos, and it's probably noticeable. I tried to do my videos in one take, like the whole video. So if I'm doing a 14-minute video, I'm speaking for 14 minutes, and I'm doing me level best to try and not make a mistake, because then I'm like, I have to start again if I do that, because I recognize edits, and edits look weird when the screen jumps and stuff like that, and the sounds distorted. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that, so it bothers me. So if it bothers me, it's definitely, when you look at someone like this, you go, it's super, super annoying then when you are making claims about my country and you're some absolute idiot. Anyway, Irish Examiner, fears of coming referendum could be hijacked by far right. What's that quote there from Batman v Superman? That's fear. And I love it. I love that image of Batman, by the way, played by Ben Affleck. And he's like, that's fear. Breathe it in. And I'm like, yeah, you should be afraid here, because this referendum, if this doesn't go the way of most of the population with the way they want it to go, they're going to start questioning things. So this is the thing. If people are vocal about stuff right now, about getting this hard no on this, the government are panicked about this, and they think that if they lose this one, that's a big issue for them going forward. If on the flip side, they think that they're going to be able to make a boogeyman out of this mythical far right and think that they're going to get it over the line and people aren't going to notice, they are sorely mistaken. Sorely mistaken. You've got this individual that turned up. This is an RTE woman. This is the one, by the way, that turned up. Remember her outside? It was the storm. It's a status yellow warning. Don't make any unnecessary journeys. It's a bit of wind and rain. It's a bit of wind and rain. It's not Twister. Who do you think you are, Helen Hunt? Like, who do you think you are? Are you Bill Bixby? Is that who you are? Bill Paxton, is that the guy that was in that? Bill Bixby. So this woman was going down, walking around looking for interviews, and she was told by the locals, no, get on to fuck, go away. We don't want you here. We don't speak to you. We don't want to speak to you. We've no interest. And she was like, well, I just want to talk to people. And they're like, you're coming down here trying to push an agenda as if we're racist. And that was the face she pulled, lads, 36 seconds into the video. So I started a hashtag and I said, hashtag plantation piggy. And in my humble opinion, anybody that's in the government or in the media that is looking to invade our country or have our country invaded or be planted with a new plantation, in my humble opinion, is a plantation piggy. Only a matter of time before far right win Donald seats, says Minister. Good. You think this is a bad thing? You think people are going to be panicked about this? I think there's a lot of people out there, by the way, that are silently like, this is going wrong, guys. I'm afraid to give my political opinion on things, but I tell you what, when it gets to that ballot box, I'm going to be definitely voting for those people. I would encourage people to start talking about it openly now. If you see someone that has been claimed as being a far right person online, I would humbly say to you that if they are put on a ballot going forward, that you would start talking about them and say, I am voting for that person, and do it with integrity, do it with honor, do it with pride, because this is something that I think needs to be done. We need to shy away from this whole, feeling like it's a negative thing to be going against the media. You need to be telling people, like, if Philip Dwyer is running and I'm voting for him, I'm going to tell people I'm voting for Philip Dwyer, and you should too. I'm not going to hide behind hoping, I hope that person votes for that person and sees a bit of sense. I'm telling them, you should vote for that person. That's how it is. And these people are afraid now. It's fear. And I love to see it. It's palpable in the air right now, it is with the left, and it's palpable with the government and the media. They're afraid. And they should be afraid, because what's coming now is going to be a complete tidal wave of people saying, I'm not having this anymore. We've had enough. Anyway, we'll move on to this here. Conor McGregor's plan for a multi-million euro apartment was blocked. So that's a political thing, in my opinion. And this is what they said. Now, because they've said this, here's what happens. You get to use this then. So this means that if you have a migrant centre or any of these direct provision centres that are going up in your area, this is the same sort of logic you need to use against them. The planning authority said the scheme would have an overbearing impact and result in undue overlooking of adjacent residential properties. Cool. You should say the same. If you're in Ballymun, if you're in Tala, if you're in Ballybrack, if you're in Ballinrobe, the same should apply. The council also stated that the scheme would significantly detract from the visual amenities of the area and seriously injure the amenities of property in the vicinity. These are the same words and phrases. They have told you their plan and playbook and have used the play upon him. You should do the same. Rural Ireland is now becoming ungovernable as anger builds over accommodation centres. That's fascinating. These people are super panicked about rural communities, and they should be, because the rural communities, like I said earlier on, have a big part to play in this. A huge part to play. I said it, I think 2 years ago. I was just like, you need to get involved. You need to start talking about what's going on. And fairness to Toby, he's been talking about it. Fairness to Mick O'Keefe, he's been talking about it. The Irish Git's been talking about it. Irish Inquiry, Dave Cullen. You've got Mike Collins, Tirga Soldier, Derek Bloig, Philip Dwyer. They've all been talking about it. And now you've got a situation where they're going, rural Ireland is ungovernable. Happy days. That's good news. Because you're in serious bother now for what you've done. Adrian Weckler, Ireland considers making it necessary to show passport ID before accessing Facebook and that stuff there. Get rid of both is what I would say. Don't engage in both. Commissioner Oman is inviting the public to submit their opinions before January 19th. So another load of spoof there. But yeah, we want you to have an ID to access the internet. This is where they'll go, by the way, with Twitter. They'll want you to have a passport for that there so that they can track you down and hold you accountable for naughty things that you've said that they don't like. Yet though, we've got the biggest treasonous people and traitors here to this country that we've seen probably since Oliver Cromwell. In fact, I would actually say that the people running this country now, including the media, the NGOs and the politicians, are worse than Oliver Cromwell. That's quite the statement, isn't it? UK fund snaps up 85% of Dublin 17 housing estate originally aimed at individual buyers. Private rental firm Oku has acquired 46 homes in Belcamp Manor for 21.5 million and is seeking to rent out each for 3,175 per month. Who's earning 3,175 per month? That's just for the rent. Who's earning that? That's scandalous. And that has been allowed, by the way. Because guess what? If the TDs wanted something done and councillors wanted things done, they'd get them done. They blocked Conor McGregor there, but they didn't block this. Interesting that, isn't it? Far right behind Carlo, asylum seeker, accommodation, U-turn, says activist. It's insane. It's insane to think that we have foreigners coming over here now telling you that you're a far right person in your country by going, no, I don't think this should be happening. This is where we are. Why doesn't Lucky Kambule, what a stupid name. Imagine your mother carried you for 9 months and called you Lucky. Insane. Lucky Kambule said the government is not addressing the issue of the rise of the far right. Again, another individual, another foreigner interfering in our elections. And this is the way I've started to go about things now. I've started to say foreign interference in Irish elections. If you were a foreigner running for a position here in Ireland, you are a foreign interference in our elections. That's as far as I'm concerned. The government, the U-turn and plans to house 50 mad asylum seekers at a building in County Carlow has been criticised as giving into a far-right narrative. Yeah, because, see, Lucky doesn't understand that rural politicians are very afraid about their seats being taken from them. So that's why they're going to have to actually listen to the people. Dublin's a different ballgame. They think, we'll just get away with it there. It's too many people. No one's going to unite there. They're going to be wrong, though. They're going to be proven wrong. But here's the thing. This guy is out there. This guy is a Green Party member. Insane. How about you help out your own home country? How about that? Instead of coming over here and giving some sort of spiel to us to tell us, pontificating, oh, you should be doing this and that. Get out. Get out. You've got this here as well, too. We'll just pop this video on, show you here. So this is the guy that was telling you that you should be taken out and this thing here. So hang on here for a second before we play it. This video is nuts. Because I'd like to see them in the head. Counters hardline on Dublin riots. Has this fella been expelled from the party yet? Yeah, you've had one fella from Fianna Fáil has been raided because he was like the inn is full now. Let's have a look.
Hi, I'm here in Limerick City with Councillor Azad Tulukter, and we want to bring some very positive news to the immigrant community right up and down Ireland, and here obviously in Limerick and across County Limerick. The government has today published a new scheme which is effectively an amnesty for people who are here more than 4 years and who are unregularised and undocumented.
Now, I'm going to just stop that there. That means they are an illegal immigrant. That means that they have not come here legally and they have hung around here for 4 years plus, and now they're being told by goofballs like this guy here, yeah, you can stay. And this is the result. A guy that can barely speak English, who was in a councillor position in Ireland and is saying things like this. We have lost the plot here in this country, and we have totally indulged these people for far too long. People like this guy. This clown here is just a chanter. He is someone that has grabbed at the coattails of guys like this because they're willing to bring fellas like this along. But he is the problem. And these people that own these buildings, who are leasing things out, who are rocking up to these places like Ballinrobe, and who are enforcing things, they are the problem, and they're starting to be named. Derek Bloig is out there now, and various others that are there online on Twitter are naming these people who own these places, who are standing to gain an awful lot of money for housing these people. And when that starts, guys, you're in bother. Because people are going to start finding out then, they're going to go, okay, what business do they own? Not supporting her anymore. And then you're going to have the other situation that's going to occur from these things. But if you're having a new plantation here into Ireland, well, what happened in the days of the Brits when they did that? Again, this is cause and effect. I'm not endorsing or saying anybody should do anything. I'm not supporting it, and I disavow anyone that's up to any negative behaviour. But what I'm saying to you is this is cause and effect. And when they then go crying to the media and go, look what these people are saying to me, I just go, well, you deserve it. That's what I do. Because I go, well, you're the one that decided to do these things, so it's up to you. Let's keep going.
So there will be now a clear pathway for those people to regularise their status and to achieve citizenship. So it's a really, really positive news for the immigrant community. If you've been here more than 4 years, or with children more than 3 years, or if you're in direct provision for more than 2 years, you will be able to qualify under this scheme, which will be opened in January. Azad?
Yep. Thank you very much. First of all, I like to welcome this scheme, and this scheme was very close to my heart. And special thanks to Minister Niall Collins, because I remember a few years back we started the journey with him, and finally we got this. And thanks for the Justice Minister. And I hope whoever getting this scheme, their future I like to see them to contribute for this country, and they will make better life for their own family. And I wish all the best for them. And I like to thank my party, Fianna Fáil, to behind this scheme. Thank you.
Hi, I'm here
There you
in
go.
Limerick.
He's to blame. Justice Minister to blame. You heard it there yourself for this sort of nonsense. This is incredible stuff. It's absolutely incredible. But what are they doing? This is exactly it, by the way. Me and my family, and we're going to bring in people and their families as well too. Votes. Votes is what it's about. How can we, the native population are getting wise to what we're doing. They're not angry enough about the current plantation. We're going to keep wedging people into the country. But what will we do? Well, we'll tell the people that we're bringing into the place that we're going to give them all sorts here, and they'll vote for us there. That's the plan. Simple, isn't it? But that's what they're doing. So this isn't working out too well for Sinn Féin. Sinn Féin rocked up there to Donegal. What was it, I think now November, December, I think it was. It's not January, obviously, because the Crimbo decorations are up, but I don't know where it's November, December, but did mean to share this video. And this is what sort of response they were met with. This is Donegal. Is it Buncrana, I think this was it? So let's have a look. So this is the party that's supposed to be the opposition. This place was packed to the gills, by the way. It's also supposed to be the Nationalist Party. They're a party now that are refusing people from meetings, like Philip Dwyer, for example. Chris Andrews, was it? Was it Chris Andrews that was refusing Philip Dwyer from a meeting, wouldn't let him speak, wouldn't let him ask a question? And it was a closed shop then. They were like, the far right trying to get into the meeting. No, people are just there to ask questions, which they're entitled to do, and they're entitled to be there and make you look silly for things that you were doing and supporting. So let's have a look at the reception they got.
I would like to thank the representatives for coming here tonight. Fair play to you, Martin, for being brave enough to come. But I do respect it. But Sinn Féin did brand the people in East Wall, far right fascists. And excuse me, I'm still speaking, excuse me, a councillor of Sinn Féin from Northern Ireland made a video on it and said that we were far right. Now, I'll move on. Every political party in this country is supporting mass migration. Every one is. Every one is. And it is affecting our housing supply. It is affecting it. And one last point, which is very important from the people of this surrounding area. These people are not being vetted.
No. 61% of them, actually.
And I want to send a message, and I think I speak on behalf of everyone here tonight from this surrounding area. We're sending a message to Dáil Éireann, to every one of you parties in it, and your representatives that are here tonight. We will not accept any migrants in any premises in the surrounding area. We don't want to.
Now, I just want to show you his face. I just want to bring that. That is the face of a man that is panicked. You've got a couple of other idiots that are there that are like, oh, sure, look, he is worried. And the reason why he's worried is because, like that, this community that's there, if it is Buncrana, if I'm not mistaken there, I can't see anybody in the chat there that has confirmed, but I'm sure it is. It's Donegal anyway. He's panicked because he's gone, I'm not, this is his community. This is the people who are voting for him. And their why is, and this is the importance of social media and the importance of the likes of sending videos around to people and letting them know. That man spoke about Dublin and Ringsend and applied it to his own area. That's the importance of this. And when you're saying to yourself, and some people do that, they go, oh, it's not making no difference sending the videos around or showing them what's going on in Dublin. Yes, it does. Because that man was able to apply it to his own area and say, this is what this party are about. It's not just one man. It is a whole party that have bought into all of this nonsense, and they are looking to do the exact same thing in their own constituencies in Dublin. So they're going to do the same thing here. Now, I love what he said at the end, which is we're not having anybody. Because, again, this is the importance of having strong men in the room as well as strong women, but in particular the men, because everybody knows, and particularly the guys, they know that the likes of the government and the media want to prey upon women and their emotional I would say, reaction to the likes of, hey, we're going to bring women and children in. And a lot of the women go, oh, okay, because you're playing upon our heartstrings with that. Guys are looking at that like me, and they're going, well, little Abdul there, great lad and all that, But in 20 years' time, he's going to grow up and there's going to be a gang of them then. Is that what you want hanging around the area? You're still going to have an unvetted male migrant then in 20 years' time, as well as what you have currently. So I don't think that that is a good idea. And I think an awful lot of people are also feeling the same way about that. And why are these people passing over so many countries and getting to our country then and are being left on? I think Toby put it in Twitter there only yesterday, the day before. It takes them 72 hours in the EU to find out a fingerprint where it originated from and if there's any sort of history there. But by that time, they're in a different country altogether. And they could be causing all sorts of havoc and mayhem. This was the incident here in New York. I'll give you a look at this one. This is absolutely bonkers. It's crazy stuff. So when I was talking about this earlier on, this stuff is becoming factual. And I think the honest to God reaction from people, look at this. I think people are looking at this and they're like, holy balls. Anybody that's not talking about this, by the way, be honest with you, you gotta check them off the list of people you watch. Because anyone that's not saying anything about this, you're someone not to be trusted. That's wild. It's so wild. And there's another video as well too. Let's have a look. They're probably on the stream. How was it that these guys were able to fight the NYPD? He sprayed them. Anyway, that's the gig with that one there. That's New York. So that's an interesting thing. The tunnels underground they did there. There was a guy that was posting on like December or something like 2021. He's like, I'm not being in this stuff around that, but I can hear these people underneath me, and I'm like, what's going on? And then he tweeted them like recently. He's like, I told you they're under the apartments. Let's have a look at this here. So I hope this doesn't mess up now. The front page of tomorrow's Irish Sun, as referenced on BBC The View a few minutes ago, so from Gavin Riley. McGregor's kicking the Ross. No TD or centre will back UFC fighter Conor McGregor bid to be president. Tells you everything about the establishment then, lads, doesn't it? To stand, he needs to be nominated by 4 councils or 20 Oireachtas members, most likely independents, but out of all 33 independents, none who replied to our poll will back him. One said, I wouldn't nominate him to wash the dishes. McGregor says, tell them I said, prepare to be replaced in the next elections. Oh, what a response. Something's gathering steam there. John Kavanagh is even tweeting back at these people as well too, saying things that are very agreeable. And I'm like, wow, it has definitely shifted. So this is important. If there's a money man on board, I think this might be our John Dutton. Guys, because he's consistent with what he's saying and the way he's saying it, and especially then he's linking up with the right people, is what I'd say. So hopefully this is going to go the way that we think it's going to go. If anyone has the money and the power to do it, it's him. There's nobody else here. There's no other celebrity that has that type of money that's going to turn on a dime and say, yeah, we're going to help out. No one. Community shock as young businessman and hoarder passes out the collapse while running. This has been completely normalised to this. Former Tyrone minor footballer passed away suddenly in Australia. Again, another thing that they want to just glaze on past. Roderick O'Gorman says 15,000 asylum seekers per year will be new normal. That's an invasion and plantation, no? That's the definition of that, isn't it? No? Saying Ireland for the Irish is disgraceful. Fianna Gael, Minister for State, Neil Richmond, TD, Dublin rat down. Get this guy out of sea. He needs to go. All of them need to go, quite frankly. But this guy, Cabbage Patch head here, old constipation head, needs to go. That's a picture as well, too, from a number of years ago. He's looking fair old nowadays, he is. Carrying a good bit of weight nowadays, he is. So he needs to go as well. This is actually a statement he made, by the way, on Virgin Media during the week. I'm sure Virgin Media were like, shit, how are we going to spin this one? Neil's a moron, so what do we do? I hope that people don't notice. That's what they're doing. which is the best thing about being a conspiracy theorist, being right most of the time, able to think critically, not having myocarditis, and not being a sheep. I'll take all of the above, Chris. Take all of the above. I'm doing well. We're doing okay. So let's keep going, and we'll see what else we have. U.S. Army facing major decline in white recruits, says report. It seems unusual to me that every institutional power in America is at war with white people, says Daniel Concannon. So why would white people enlist in America's war machine? You've hated us for decades. We're finally beginning to do that back. Yeah. That was looking, guys. It's looking like that. I was even watching Reacher recently, and I was like, it's a good show. The season 2 is much better than season 1 in it. But you can definitely see Amazon's influence where they're like, you know, at one stage, he says to the female black army fellow colleague, "You're a better shot than I am." Oh, really? Okay, what a strange thing to say. What a strange thing to say as well. Rather than you're the superior officer, why not just say that she has to just give you cover and that's just it? Just leave it at that. No, you want to make that statement to make sure that everyone knows that she's a strong, independent woman, you know? And of course, then, because he's not saying it to the other woman who is white, and she's very powerful, she's very smart as well, too. Don't think we don't notice these things. That's why I like Godzilla Minus One. There's none of that nonsense. The masculinity gets pushed to the front and it's supported and endorsed. And I'm like, yeah, I'll have a bit of that. That's great. The Japanese know what's up. Soros-funded Antifa NGOs admit they're snitching on private citizens to Gardaí, says the Burkean. Shane O'Curry, the director of the Irish Network Against Racism, has made a shocking admission in the Irish Times today. So that's from Off-Grid Ireland. Fair play to them. Off-Grid Ireland posted this here. Of the 12 women no longer in this plane of existence in Ireland in 2022, 5 were offed by non-integrated immigrants. Yikes. That's nearly 50%, guys. That's not good. And apparently, Leo Varadkar said that there's no connection between immigration and crime. Yikes there, guys. Ireland blames misogyny for female passings caused by mass migration. Ireland's rate of deadly violence against women could fall dramatically through sensible migration policy and other basic programs. Can't agree with that enough. Fine Gael seeking law change to let under 16s legally change gender. New rules for blood donations by gay men also on the agenda. Yeah, I wouldn't be getting. I wouldn't want to be quite honest with you at this stage of the game. I don't know whether you can do it. Maybe someone that's out there knows. I definitely wouldn't be taking a transfusion from someone else. I really mean that, you know, for various reasons, and that being one of them there that they're looking to do. Finn and Fall councillors condemn Garda raids. This is to send a message. This is insane what happened here. There's 2 ways of talking about this and thinking about this, and I'm going to explain in a moment. This is a declaration of Ireland, Off-Grid Ireland says this. This is a declaration of war against the Irish people. If Fury are moving into times of troubles, men won't sit back and take this level of tyranny and political suppression. He fears, he says, that such raids may become more commonplace as the Gardaí seeks to discourage political protests around immigration. If this is what they can do to me as a sitting councillor, he said, then God help anyone else if this hate speech bill is ever passed and they have the power to come into people's homes and seize the voices based on next to nothing. I think he's followed up with it again, allegedly, especially, I don't know whether it's him or someone else, and they've said that they wouldn't cooperate with the Gardaí. And I was like, that's an interesting comment. That's a very interesting comment, given the fact that you're in political office and power, I suppose. But that says an awful lot about what you think about the Gardaí, which is obviously not good. And if you were in somewhat sort of a circle, to think that way is really reflective of them, then, isn't it? When you think about it like that. But certainly, there's 2 ways of looking at this here. There's one setup, allegedly. Again, this is a speculation, allegedly speculating on this. You could say that this is possibly a setup. Some people are saying it online. They're saying that this is to discourage people from sharing their feelings, because if they're doing it to them, they'll do it to you, which is the crux of the argument there. Sure. But also, what's happening is then they're going to sow discontent amongst themselves and amongst people as well, too. And that's a bad move, because becoming a dictator and engaging in tyranny is only going to lead to revolt. And again, I'm explaining cause and effect here because I don't know what the end goal is for these people. But certainly, if I was one of these people in politics, I wouldn't be doing a quarter of what they're doing. They're doing things that 100 years ago, just over 100 years ago, people didn't have. They just didn't take it. You know what I'm saying? And these people are doing things now that defy logic. They're putting themselves into positions that don't make sense. And then they have the gall and the audacity then to come out here and say people are threatening us. And I'm going, you know, if you're fucking poking people in the eye, what are you going to expect? You know what I mean? If you slap a dog on the nose enough times, the dog's going to bite you. You know what I mean? It's simple as that. And then these people want you to feel some sort of sympathy for them. And I'm like, I don't feel any sort of sympathy for any politician. None. And especially the ones that voted away my rights, my freedoms, and my civil liberties over a fucking flu. I don't feel anything towards you. In fact, I would like to see you face the maximum punishment that could be allowed. And I actually think we should start bringing things back into this country, especially a certain penalty for people that have engaged in treason and traitor behaviour and have pushed things upon people there, breaking Nuremberg Code, breaking the Geneva Convention. I think you should be absolutely punished for that. Wholeheartedly and publicly, I think you should be punished for that. And these people then have the audacity to go, well, you saying that the country's being planted as far right and it's not going to be tolerated. What? You've got people getting suspended sentences here in this country. This is how upside down this place is. Suspended sentences for doing things and attacking children. And then you have Enoch Burke sitting in jail for having contempt of court. A fucking joke shop this place is. Joke shop. And the fact that not many politicians have said anything about him tells you everything you need to know. Tells you everything you need to know. The Cavan Vanguard, the Cavan Citizen Patrol Group will be up and running soon, to be done on Friday and Saturday nights in Cavan Town. This is where things are going, lads. They're going to be vigilante groups. Again, cause and effect. I'm not endorsing as a partner or anything like that, disavowing. But what I'm saying to you is, cause and effect dictates that this is going to happen. When people see that the Gardaí are either too understaffed, because if you're in a specific area, you might have 4 people there, 2 people are in the office having to man phones and 2 people are out and about. It's impossible to be everywhere at once. What you end up going to seeing is you're going to see things like this here where people are going to take it of their own accord to do things. This is what the government have created. And it's leading down a very dark path because you're seeing the same sort of stuff happen in America. And in America, they actually have militias in different places. Again, is a part of the plan? Perhaps. The Cavan Citizen Patrol Group will be up and running soon, to be done on Friday and Saturday nights in Cavan Town. This is following the lead of several towns around Ireland who have been forced to do the same to protect their citizens. It's following recent events in the town, including a machete-wielding maniac who was let out on bail and other incidents that we cannot talk about here out of respect for families involved, but all locals know about. The main function of this group is to keep an eye on the town and alert Gardaí at any signs of trouble. If you'd like to get involved, message this page. The more people they have, the better. So essentially, you're doing the job of the guards, but not getting paid for the job. I think then that means that they're kind of defunct. Then I think as an organisation, they're pretty much not doing what they should be doing. Then would that be fair to say? Let's keep going. Arlo says now is in full swing. More locals are planning on coming this evening to hold the fort overnight. Lots of support from people going by. It's always great to see the support. There's Luke O'Connor there as well. It's been posting that up, so that's great to see. Very positive. Very positive. But Richard Stracker, that's the guy I was telling you about. He was the guy that was saying about the people in the underground. I posted that video up there as well. Sinead O'Connor passed from natural causes. Coroner confirms natural causes at 56. What does that mean? Was she, Voldemort, or what's the story? A joke. Fianna Fáil councillor slams Gardaí after he searches home in relation to Galway arson attack. Gardaí investigating an arson attack out of this year. By the way, this is another thing. By the way, they've started again. When I say they, there has been fires at various locations that are supposedly going to house, again, allegedly, speculatively, immigrants and asylum seekers, refugees, whatever you may call them. Gimmigrants, fake UGs is what they're being called as well to online, and these places have gone up in flames. Now, of course, the government and the media have initially and immediately gone to the word arson. And listen, I've viewed enough things in America to know things don't smell right when they don't smell right. And this doesn't smell right. There is no CCTV been released. They're talking about arrests in the coming weeks. Let's see what happens there. Let's see if they arrest anyone at all. Or if they just try and make it go away and just try and say, yeah, these things keep happening, they do. They're trying to, in my humble opinion, when Conor McGregor used the words evaporate, you have Joe Brolly as well too, whose missus is related to Joe Biden, who likes to, engage in sniffing of minors. And I'm not talking about the ones that mine for coal. You have him out there talking about that and trying to link back to that comment. So again, people are asking questions. They're like, oh, right, this seems really odd. And it seems like that even though an investigation hasn't occurred, that Helen McEntee is clairvoyant, that she's like, oh, we know it's arson, it's the far right. Okay, where's CCTV then? Where is that? And how come you've immediately gone to that? Could this possibly be an action of the radical left? Could this be an action of Antifa, who are growing even more desperate because there's more people mocking them, laughing at them, ridiculing them? Do you think it couldn't be them, though? No? No? Okay. Right, you've ruled that out entirely. Really interesting, that one. So whenever an incident like this occurs, I say to myself, well, the government are desperate. They're telling you they're desperate. The media are telling you that the government are desperate. The media are telling you that the media are desperate. Well, what will these people not do? What will they do? And they're questions you always need to ask yourself, and you need to ask when it comes to these things. And you say to yourself, that's really weird how not anyone's been lifted for this. Not anyone has been shown. But guess what? We can get CCTV of the Africans that robbed a house in Santry, though, that stole to the tune of a couple of thousand from the house with axes. You can get the CCTV from that, though. Weird, that, isn't it? You can get videos and images of fellas that are up to no good here in this country, no problem, that are not from this country. Videos coming out on the daily. But yet these threats and these claims that are made by the government that they're getting threats from people, they never produce them. Never produce the receipts. So who would blame people that are career lawyers? You know what I'm saying? You're going, career lawyers over there, and they're telling you that they're telling the truth? Don't think so. Let's keep going. Biologist warns WHO plan to take over control of nations for the next scam. This is the thing. He's doing great work by himself and with a number of others. Who was Leo Varadkar meeting with not too long ago? Your man Tedros there from the WHO and Mike Ryan. They all had that meeting, by the way. That was another thing. That whilst all of this shit is going on, they were meeting with each other, meeting with this group. Tedros is wanted for crimes against humanity in Ethiopia, by the way. This is what we're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? You have well, I suppose I should say an organization here that won't say the word Taiwan. They won't say it. Why? It says it all, doesn't it? How come China was never punished and never faced any sort of repercussions for letting out a virus? By the way, that virus could escape a highly sensitive and highly locked down biolab, but it couldn't get through a paper mask. Just remember that, okay? Just remember that there. Revenue in Get Tough approach over unpaid taxes. So, interesting time when you come to that there. They're all spieling out of this thing. We need more money so we can house more foreigners. New system for stripping Irish citizenship from naturalised immigrants to come into force this year. So, at the same time that they're telling you that they're going to bring 15,000 people in a year, that's going to be the new normal, they're also telling you we're going to kick people out. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. So the Irish Times now far right, are they? Is this not far right and racist? Is it not? Previous system was struck down as unconstitutional by the Supreme Court 3 years ago. We live in interesting times, boys. What's that twice there? Despite making up only 13% of London's total population, Black Londoners account for 61% of the knife perpetrators and 53% of knife crime perpetrators. Interesting, that one. Putin arrests political opponents. Tyranny. Democrats arrest political opponents. Democracy. So it's all part of it. It's your team, my team, whatever it might be. Let's keep going here. Ethiopia, Liberia, Haiti, Zimbabwe. There was no white people there, no colonization there. Yeah, that's still how it is. Fired the Seals Dublin pub, falsely rumoured to be earmarked for asylum seeker accommodation. Not seem to have the same sort of look to them, guys. New law to enforce use of brown bins. Too many rules and laws from this illegitimate regime, is what I said there. Why consumers will be facing a stamp duty sting on their credit cards in the coming days. So these are all things that are happening to you in the meantime. Two-tier market warning as house prices hit affordability limits. An average home in Dublin is now selling for over €511,000, over €500,000 for a house in Dublin. Crazy. I told you 6 figures. This thing is going to get to the 7-figure mark there. It's going to get to the million. People won't be able to buy nothing. And this is where this whole thing, you'll own nothing and being happy. Scandalous it is. What it is you'll own nothing and you'll be submissive. That's what they want you to be. They want you to be on your knees. Far-right, anti-Semitic, pro-Putin, anti-vax, anti-immigration, anti-trans, climate denier. The establishment has managed to end all question and debate of the policies around the great issues over time. An idiotic 2-word tropes lapped up by simplistic morons. This is a good one there by you, McKenna. That was a good one. The Irish government's 2040 project in picture. It's madness, isn't it, to think that that's exactly what's going on, though, you know, isn't it? Short clip from the blockade happened in Galway today. 70 fake refugees are to be consumed. The community says otherwise, and rightfully so. Ross Lake Hotel. And people are just having enough now at this stage of the game. Very interesting. So anyway, that's where we're going to leave it tonight. I'll jump into the chat, say a quick hello, I will, and then I'll bugger off then. That's me. So that's sort of the news portion done for this evening. Just to be letting you know, I'm going to do a video on it as well too. But what I've decided to do with the channel, because I've had a bit of time thinking about it, and again, I'm going to just let people know as things stand. I am going to start doing streams every 2 weeks. So what was happening was sometimes I was busy and I couldn't get a stream done. Sometimes that just happens. And unfortunately, you know, I felt really bad about it, obviously, as well, too, that I couldn't do streams over the last couple of weeks. But I did need a bit of the time off, and it's given me time to recuperate and think and certainly say to myself, right, okay, how do I want to frame things here? And how do I want to bring the most important news articles to you? And that's what I've decided to do now. I will be still posting, and when I do sort of streams every 2 weeks, it means then that I have more time then to create videos throughout the week, which is good for the channel. And it also then is a snippet of information then, so people can find out what's going on. I know sitting through a 2-hour stream or an hour stream, and that can be tedious, can be long. Some interesting points come up, some interesting stories do, others don't. Some people dip out, and that's okay, that's fine. We've stayed over the 200 mark here tonight. But I've decided that I'm going to go every 2 weeks with the streams. Next week, I'm going to be having Satirical Soldier on, Mike Connell. He's going to be here. He's going to have a chat. And then after that, then I don't know whether the following week I'll do a stream or whether it'll be like the week after. I'll let you know. I'll keep you in the loop on that. But that's the plan anyway with things, because I want to keep things fresh. I wanted to keep it enjoyable. And also as well, too, I want to keep the information concise and compact. I know that we're at 2:35 right now, so I'll try and zoom through the chat. But that's where I wanted to leave it this evening. And again, I'm going to drop a video as well too to inform people and let people know that that's the current plan. It means that I have more time then to do the videos, as I said, and it just means then that more information gets out there in snippets rather than hoarding it all for a stream. And people might miss out on stuff that I actually think is quite important, like the stories there I was talking towards the end. I'm like, that's actually super important, and that's further up on the page, and it's 2 hours in. How many people are making it through to that? You know, sort of like. So, and then it's so I'm not repeating myself on certain things either. It's like, even when I'm saying it there and pointing out things and going, that'd be a good video, that'd be a good video. There's no point in me telling you that on the live stream either, in a way. Do you know what I mean? So I need to just have a think about that tactfully, I suppose, and tactically. So thanks for everyone that's here tonight. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you so much, you do, and thanks to everyone that's obviously always asking as well too when I'm going to be here and what I'm doing. Shout out, massive shout out to the mods in the chat. Thanks so much as well too for all you do and all the shout outs that you give me, and indeed as well too all the contact that you guys make with me and let me know how things are and what's up and checking in on me and stuff like that, which is lovely. You know, it's great to see that such a community's been built here. I really appreciate that. Dr. Man says Ninja Pop Culture channel I'll be a guest. Yeah, I definitely would probably do that. I'll definitely link people in, and like that, if I set up that second channel and third channel, that's definitely going to be the plan. I'm going to have people on and have a chat with people about like the entertainment sphere. It probably will get small amount of subscribers at the beginning, and that's the thing. I do want to set up a channel that's, I mean, I know Dan's mixtape that was on here, he has Dan's model channel, I think it's called. I'm subscribed to it, I am as well. But I found that so fascinating when he was talking about that when I was on the stream with him. I was like, that's great that you have a second channel that's doing that. So I might get in touch with him and ask him how that works out. Because I definitely do want to do that. And I think maybe it's come to a point in time where the channel needs to be separated onto another channel. So as that, I know sometimes as well too, sometimes I'll post things as well and I'll be like, well, that's doing well, and then people might dip out because they'll be like, oh, this guy's talking about. There was a reason for that for a long time, obviously, and that was to bring people in from different walks of life. But I think now it's come to the point in time there, like with the last number of videos, that people are hungry for what's going on politically here in Ireland. I think it's time to kind of put that stuff onto another channel that's linked to this one and let people know. All right. So I appreciate that. Derek as well too. So let's keep going. Tom Westy says Bannon Road was hijacked big style, no women or children. When was the last bus you've seen with women and children? Yeah, none. There was also a Sinn Féiner or a supporter of Sinn Féin. It seemed like that was at one of those things, and it didn't work out well. They were called out pretty soon after it. So beware of infiltrators at these things. Beware of infiltrators that come into these things. Zoe Goday says, Ninja Knight, sorry for so many messages, Chris. It's great to have you back. Guess I'm excited, lads. Thanks very much. Armchair Limerick Nationalist says, sound for the great content, Ninja. Much appreciated and welcome back. Thank you. Thank you indeed. It's great to be back. Let's keep going here. Vote now, March 8th. Durable relationships is a loophole which would be exploited for even more incoming migration. Ireland, our destiny says there only be 1014. I know I read that one out earlier on, but I think that's a good point, and I'm going to talk about that. Elena says, Happy New Year, Ninja. Any predictions for 2024? Another bad year for the left, is what I'd say. But going to be interesting times, I think we might see some surprises. I don't think they want the general election this year anyway. CK Media Train says, hi everyone, happy weekend. 2024 is going to be epic. Lots of exposing the evil lawyers. 100%. So we got there, says this year Ninja gets past 10k subs. Yeah, that'd be nice. Maybe even 15 to 20k. She's saying there as well too. Yeah, that'd be nice, obviously, as well too. Erin says, give me three top questions to ask our would-be councillors who'll be knocking soon for seats in an upcoming election, Ninja Night. I suppose the top three ones that I would have is, do you disavow Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum? Do you support NGOs here in this country having such a political sway and such a powerful message that are being funded by some very shady sources? And also as well too, I think the big one as well for me is, do you support the open border policies? And I think you'll get your answers from that, and I think you'll really realise. I think they'll probably run away after question number one, if I'm being honest with you. And maybe even a sneaky question in there could be the whole flu scam, the whole epidemic nonsense, and the way that they did things to people, and if anyone's going to be brought to justice with relation to that. Interchangeable with that. I would say to you though, have a folder on your phone. I recommend this all the time, Aaron. Have a folder on your phone of each political party and things they've said, things they've done, videos that they've put out there. Have that saved on your phone, and when one of them knocks on the door, just go, hang on there for a sec and have a look through it and show them some of this stuff and see whether they agree with it. I mean, Sinn Féin, oh no, Brun, do you know what a woman is? You know what I mean? Things like that. Owen Lyons says, good man, Ninja, big fan of the channel. I'm from Lusk and it's full of migrants and they're building more houses for them here as well. Joker is much appreciated. Thanks very much. Super appreciated. Those type of messages as well. I appreciate the fact that people let me know. Crazy to think that people are fans of the channel. I think that's mad, But look, it is what it is. Peter Pop Perry says, the journal is equally as bad as any news stream woke journalist. Yeah, 100%. You could tell those people that the place, the sky is blue, and they tell you it's brown, they would, because they claim you as being far right. V says, Ninja, we need you back full time if possible. Hope all as well. Thanks very much. Listen, I'd love to go full time on something like this, but it's just not possible. It's not doable. The outside world has to be dealt with. Sivna Easton says, Ninja Night, how do you feel about Ireland failing to qualify for Euro 2024? Zero interest in the football, have to be quite honest with you. Same with the rugby. Sports ball, I've stepped back from it an awful lot, really. And it's all of the wokeism and tokenistic nonsense. I mean, when you've got guys there, I was never a huge fan of Irish soccer. I wasn't, because of the amount of guys that were playing for it, that were plastics and stuff like that, ahead of our own people as far as I was concerned. And then you see it then even more ludicrously recently as well too, where your man Og Benny's playing for us and you're like, his mother just happened to be in Ireland by accident. She was supposed to be in England and he's born here and now he's playing for us. Nonsense. It's taken away a position in my view from someone of our own. Ninja Knight is the head elephant keeper in Dublin Zoo. The leftists are too miserable to pay the entrance fee, says Derek McManus. I love it. Owen Lyons gifted a membership from for the Ninja Knight channel. Thanks very much. Fernando Murko says, our lady loves us. Absolutely, 100%. I saw something great recently. I don't know if anybody else saw it or anything like that, but Versatile. So Casper from Versatile, Cass Walsh, has recently been baptized. He has in the Catholic faith. So it's great to see, sent me a message and all that Christ is King. And I was like, that's absolutely awesome. It's fantastic to see, So it'll be interesting to see what things happen from here on out, whether they change the style of music, or what happens if he goes on his own, or if Eskimo goes on his own. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going to happen there. I'm sure they're staying together as a band. I hope to catch a show of theirs this year, actually, as a matter of fact, because the lads have been solid, So good day says, Ninja Knight, please remind everyone that 20 people from this chat setting up new Twitter accounts is more powerful than 20 busloads of NGO loving lefties turn out to a pro-Palestine protest. Fully agree with you there. It is highly important that you get on Twitter and on social media. These people are running scared, for sure. Connet Redmond said it's strange that men in Ireland are 10 times more eliminated than women by the stuff there from the last couple of years, and here comes the wave of African undocumented. Yep, it almost seemed like they wanted to weaken you, wouldn't it? Ninja Knight says, "Oh, if democracy was real, it would be illegal. We need to remember that people pass for us to vote, and we have an obligation to make the establishment work really hard." Yeah, absolutely, for sure. That's what my thing is all the time. Like, I mean, you see what's happening in America, they're like, "There's no way that guy actually got that position. 81 million votes, no chance." Anthony Hogan says, "Hello from Moscow, brother." People tuning in. Do you know what's mad? When you see people that are tuning in from all parts of the world, I'm like, that's nuts. That's mad. So, welcome from Moscow. So, good day, says Ninja Knight. Tusk is finished. Orban will keep strong. Welders is a fraud. The Argentinian lad is his oil shell, same as the Italian woman. Those three are frauds. Yeah, it's a strange situation there, especially our man in Argentina. Saying the right things, but at the same time hanging around with the wrong people, and you're like, oh, they're on both sides of the argument, which is something people have been saying for a while. Ben Shapiro, very quiet as well, too, recently about the NY tunnels, Strange, that one. Adrian Ear Torres says, "Hi, Ninja, happy late New Year." Good to see you here. Thanks very much. So that says, "My mates work in a restaurant and they're saying there's a concerted effort for Ireland not to produce. They are being forced to outsource to other countries to pretend it's necessary." So recently as well too, fruit in the local supermarkets, a lot of them are coming from foreign countries. Like, they're not from here, which I found to be quite unusual. I was like, well, maybe it's the time of year. Maybe they've got better and then I was like, hang on, think about this for a second. Have we not got enough farmland that is able to keep yielding enough? Like, what's the story? Now, we get to the fact that we have to import certain things, you know what I mean? Like the likes of pineapples and all that. I don't think you can grow an awful lot of them here, particularly if you even had a greenhouse. I get that. But, like, there's some other ones that I'm like, they're pretty basic. And how come we're importing them from a country with a similar climate? And what's the gig with that? You know what I mean? CST says, Ninja Knight, yes, people have seen the behaviour of these figures, but we need people like you to remind of their antics. I agree. And more people that start up YouTube channels, I fully endorse it, by the way. Fully endorse it. If you were setting up a YouTube channel, go ahead. Do it, you know what I mean? I know Toby there, that was here earlier on. He's doing a good bit of stuff there on Twitter, and he's actually set up like a kind of similar show. He set up a similar show on Twitter, kind of like what Hooker is doing. So I was like, yeah, great. Michael Brazil says, admins tell Ninja Knight that whenever he wants me on, I'll just tell me and I'll make sure I'm free. I'll have you on, man. I'll probably have you on the week after Satirical Soldier, so that'd be the next interview for sure. It's great to see you, man. And yeah, definitely have you on. Crosshatch says, Ninja, I've waited a year for a prosthetic leg. Yikes. Letitia Logan says, just yesterday, a woman with breast cancer, her brother had a stroke, and a very bad... Strokes is another one that's gone on the up as well too. Mid-50s, and a man with prostate cancer just yesterday. These things are increasing and they're increasing a lot very fast in my view. Manuel Godson sends a super sticker. Thanks very much, man. Good to see you here. I haven't seen you messing about in the chat too much now tonight, you know. I'm sure you'll come out with a couple of bits there later on. Sean Delap says it's obvious why YouTube disabled the dislike button. Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I say it all the time, and it's obvious one or two goofballs, I'm sure, here that comes in and they dislike it anyway. But my like ratio was always over 90%. You know, my likes always outweigh the dislikes by a heavy margin. I'd love to see the likes of the political parties and the establishment media's likes though on the likes of this platform. I know there's an app that you can download to get it, but to me, sometimes it's accurate and sometimes it seems to be inaccurate as well. Sean Brown says, never took the dib dab, and Grant took the flu dib dab once and I was dying sick for 3 weeks. Never took it again, never will. Just sign out to any of the dib dabs. They can stick them up where the sun don't shine. Michael Brazil says, allegedly Spectacly Chill was responsible for the disappearance of fungi off the coast of Dingle, served up in her mother's restaurant. Oh, stop. I tell you, that's made me laugh more than some certain comedians have recently. I've checked out recently Shane Gillis's new special and Dave Chappelle, and I was like, it's like talking to an old friend. You're like, it's nice to hear this sort of stuff. This woke comedy just doesn't work at all. Mary Q Phillips says, no fecking notification again. Not shocked. Sure, this platform's unsubscribing people as well too from the channel. So loads of people though always message me and they're like, I'm not been unsubscribed from you. I'm like, it's always the same. Trying to keep you down. So I'd say that it's going to be a slow crawl to 7,000. I can feel it. It was a slow crawl to 6,000, let me tell you. And then it kind of went a bit quick then recently. And I was like, oh, that's unusual. And then it seemed to slow down again. Elena says, Ninja Knight, a lot of these Indians are British. Common travel area joined the dots. Very true. Very true. British Empire having these places and owning them for so long, and then they're coming back then to their homeland. Isn't that right, guys? How is it that Scotland have a fella called Yusuf or Yumza or something like that running their shtick? You've got your man Rishi Sunak is running England and Britain as a whole, I suppose. Then you've got Leo Varadkar here. Very strange, that one. Mark Halpin says, Ninja, we want to like a culture, not all over the world. Yeah. Ninja Knight, the left tried to encourage the Irish to identify as the same as the blacks when our culture, DNA, history, and intellect and genetics couldn't be more different. Yeah, and they're talking about failed states as well too. They're particularly African countries. Yeah, it's amazing how these people can come here now and can fix the place, but can never fix their own country. Weird, that one, isn't it? Sheepdog says, Ninja Knight, you have to show the clown Kieran Cuff on about migrants. The Irish Git did a great breakdown on him. Yeah, will do. I'm sure the Irish Git will when he's on here. We'll get him on. I'm only at 9 o'clock on this chat. I'm like, yikes, I need to get through this quick here as well. Let's keep moving. Let's go. Air that only B1014. Joey Barton is right. Yeah, he was. I actually think he's spot on. And I think it's what football has needed for some time. And now Matt Letizia has been out there as well, doing his bit for the last number of years. And it was very welcome to see Joey Barton coming out and saying things that I thought was 100% needed to be said. Let's go now through the chat. Try and do it through a quicker means here. Hang on, folks. Just give me a moment. Chat's buzzing here tonight. It is. Let's have a look. Gardaí are not being cooperated with on cases allegedly, speculatively, according to people here in the chat there. So that's interesting to see. Justice system is Katie says justice system is a joke when it comes to these vicious, violent crimes. Crimes out of control. Thanks, McEntee. Yeah, and all the rest as well too. She got the blame for sure, and rightfully so. And the rest of them will for sure try to slink off into the cupboard and say, it wasn't me. Derek Man says 15 allegedly speculatively. I'm absolutely losing my ability to stand up allegedly speculatively. Derek likes to play a game here. He does. I won't say what the game is. I won't be enticing anybody or anything like that. The Diageo will be onto the case then. They'd be saying here. Did you know, by the way, that Pascal Donoghue owns shares in Diageo and transferred them to his wife? Did anybody else know that? Strange, that one, isn't it? Brodie is worse than Lineker. Yeah, they don't like. The Brodie fella is a weirdo, you know, absolute weirdo. Fruitcake. Johnny Boy says, Ninja Knight, I know you're interested in the Trump court case, so check out Robert Gueva watching The Watchers every day. Actual readout of the word, every word said in court. Manuel Godson says, love you, Ninja. Thanks very much. Yeah, the Trump case it's a bit of a political mess, I think, really. I think it's just trying to keep people entertained, really. DF says, Ninja Knight for president. I tell you what, anytime I see that Michael D. Higgins fella, he sickens me, he does. Sickens me. Eamon Barrett says, thanks, Ninja. Every 2 weeks is grand. Nice one, Ninja. Cheers, says Zarowski. Chris Craig says, if there's no money involved, the police will not come. CST says, Ninja Knight, thanks for covering all the topics tonight. Some I knew, some I hadn't heard, so thumbs up for that. Great source. Thank you. Stephen Isan says, Ninja Knight, hey, Ninja, that was a Varadkar impression again. You sound funny when you do it. He's gas man. He's not a gas man. He's actually a fella that shouldn't be anywhere near the button that he's at. Well, I'll be up all night while rewatching this, especially long edition of Ninja late night. I'll try clocking in on under 3 hours, but I don't think I'm not making any promises here. There's 8 minutes left. Satirical Soldier, great value, says CST. Savage Ninja says Raul Kelly. Sheepdog says always good to take time out Ninja Night. It's important to focus. Absolutely, 100%. Absolutely. Definitely, I needed to think about what I wanted to do next, you know. Peebo Salami says, great show, Ninja. Thanking you. Armchair Liam National says, Ninja Knight. Fair play to Ninja Knight. Let's make him a TD, says DF. Oh, stop. It'd be too wild. It'd be too wild. Far too wild. Row Caddy says, the Ninja Army is growing. Keenan Collier, Frankie Ninja, says Chris Quirk. Billy the Kid says, fair play, Ninja. Rose Waters, sends a heart. Thanks very much. Much appreciated. Let's keep going here. It's happy days, Derek Masses, says Leanne Cortis. It's always good to see that there. It's always good to see love in the chat for one another. Love to see that. Let's keep going there. And it says, good man Ninja DF says. Let's keep seeing what's happening here in the chat. Leanne, call your grandkid Ninja, says quick. Oh, stop. Imagine. Sivna Usen says, how do you feel about Ireland not being in 2024? I had seen that down there. Let's keep going here. Not members in the chat here tonight as well too, which is great. Billy Kiss is Christ is King. Johnny Boy says, I'm the same in Irish sports that I can't listen to the whole woke shite. Leave politics, religion and wife outside the stadium. Dennis McGrath says, miss video over Christmas. Nice to have you back. Thanks very much. I was hoping that the stream with Philip as well too will keep people entertained for a while. Owen Lyons says, I only made Twitter after Elon bought it. Fair point there. You know, I was bounced from Twitter for like 2 years. I was. I can't send Super says Sheepdog. That's not good, lads. That's great. It's always the same. They hate this. They hate this stream. This is the thing. They absolutely despise it. Sheepdog says, I also cannot see Michael Brazils and other comments in the chat, so that's more shit of how to destroy a channel. Says Ninja Knight says Sheepdog. Apologies for that. Don't know what's going on there. Sheepdog, you were in here a long time. I'm going to make you a wrench. So hang on here for a sec. Now, you've been given a wrench there, Sheepdog, so you should be able to see everything, I'd say. If you can't, let me know. TD, who said that there? TD for fun and frolics, says Sean Mack. Oh, man. I'd have too much fun. Just talking shit. Ninja Knight, why are the Green Party pushing candidate Honoré Carnegie so hard? They're hoping that they can push him in there so they can tell you that you're a racist if you don't vote for him. That's the plan. That's what they do with all these people. It's what they did in America. It's not going to work here, though. You don't want to vote for the Indian fella? No. You don't want to vote for the Chinese fella? No. Do you want to vote for the Chinese woman, Hazel? She's born here? No. That's been a flat out no from the people. Katie says, so many Indian students here, easy way in. Yeah. And then I think the UK recently as well, too, were looking to say, like, no more of them to come in then. And people were like, why has this been applauded here in Ireland? And I was like, that's a great thing. That's a good idea. And it's your man, Sunak, that's doing it. Hilarious. And your woman Braverman as well too was another one. I was like, that's mental. But all these people know that once they close the door, then they know what's coming after them. That's the thing. A lot of these people that emigrate from these places know what's coming after them. End the line jobs, Ninja Knight, where the Green Party. Yeah, I read that one out there. Let's keep going. Imagine Connor, Area 4 says, imagine a Connor versus Michael D scrap. I think Michael D would have a good I think he'd have a good ability to take a body shot, the big rotund belly on him nowadays. But after that, I don't think it would go too well now, you know. Too diminutive. Ninja Knight for T-Shock says Frank Barron. No, that'd be hilarious, honestly. Erda only B1014 says, Ninja Knight, are you aware of former Trinity College professor Ronit Lenton early life section and some of her anti-Irish nuggets? Early life sections of Wikipedia, I'm sure, is going to be absolutely scrubbed over the next while. They don't like those ones at all. Okay, guys, so that's it now. We've come up to the close of the show. Thanks very much for everything that you do and from being in here as well too and listening to me talk for close to 3 hours. Irish and Tired new member as well too there. Thanks very much. Much appreciated. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next week with Satirical Soldier. That's going to be a big stream. That's a stream that I'm pumped for. I'm looking forward to. The interview ones, I have to say, I'm always really excited about those ones. I am, because like you never know what's going to happen. Like I know what I'm going to do here on a stream like this, but you never really know what's going to happen. So I think it's going to be an interesting one. He's a funny chap now as well too. He has a lot of different things that he says that I wholeheartedly agree with. And I'm like, that's the type of deal that needs to be voted into a place, because if he was in the place like the likes of a Shannon, it caused absolute uproar. Absolutely hilarious. And then Ferg that's in there as well too. As well, another guy. I'll have to get you on Ferg as well. So Irish getting Ferg, you guys are definitely gonna be next up here after Satirical Soldier. All right. Listen, guys, have a good weekend. Keep an eye on what's going on. Keep your ear to the ground as well too. Don't let these people away with what they're getting away with. Make sure you do. I think that was a great suggestion that came from tonight. Set up new social media profiles. Get online. Get involved in the likes of Twitter as well too. Ensure that the turning of the tide, which is happening right now, is even stronger against these people, and that they won't be able to keep going the way they're going, because it'll be so massive that they won't be able to ignore it anymore. All right, going to clock out under 3 hours. I'll talk to you later. See you next Friday, 8 p.m. Irish time. Good luck. God bless. Jesus is King.